Norwegen ein ganz kleines bisschen jünger zu sein. Aber auch nur ein ganz kleines bisschen, wenn wir jetzt schon in Match Nummer 7 reingehen. Denn He-Man ist 2001 geboren, am 29. Januar. Und AC 1998 am 20. Mai, also auch da ist man nicht so weit auseinander. Ich weiß leider nicht, wann Intens geboren ist, das steht auf Wikipedia nicht drauf, aber vielleicht finden wir das auch noch raus, damit wir einen kompletten Durchschnitt haben, aber ich glaube, so viel Unterschied wird es da nicht geben.
Ich kann übrigens nicht ganz sicher sagen, wer der Älteste ist, weil ich nicht jeden einzelnen Spieler kenne. Ich gehe davon aus, dass Fastface schon ganz oben mit dabei ist mit seinen 31 Jahren, die er alt ist. Ne? 94 ist er geboren, der gute Mann. Dementsprechend gehe ich mal davon aus, das dürfte entweder der Älteste oder definitiv einer der Älteren sein. Aber ganz ehrlich, wen interessieren die ganzen Alter der verschiedenen Spieler, wenn wir wissen, dass die Spieler in diesem Game hier maximal 30 Minuten alt werden? Wir gehen rein in Match Nummer 7 und damit das erste Game des heutigen Tages. Leute, es wird heute wild und es wird heute wichtig. Deutschland startet in diesen Tag rein mit 42 Punkten. Das bedeutet, wir brauchen so um die 30, irgendwas bei der 30, um die Qualifikation sicher zu machen für den morgigen Tag. Und wenn das heute nicht klappt, dann sind die Jungs raus und dürfen sich Korea angucken. Das klingt zwar schön für die, aber nicht schön für uns. Wir wollen ja die nächsten 3 Tage, Freitag, Samstag, Sonntag, jeden Tag euch wieder hier begrüßen und damit auch weiter Team Germany supporten. Also hoffen wir mal heute auf gleich ein richtig gutes Banger-Game zum Start und gucken mal ganz kurz in das Interview mit Nidex. Sein Anfang war: Hallo, ich bin Nidex, ich bin Student und spiele PUBG jeden Tag. Perfekt. Moin, Nidex.
Ich habe PUBG jeden Tag gespielt, hat er gesagt.
Ah, okay.
Tatsächlich.
Ja.
Laut
Er musste ja auch
Übersetzung.
fliegen einen Tag letzte Woche. Deswegen.
Ja.
Ach ja, der gute Nidex. Er sagt, heute wird sogar noch besser als gestern. Und er möchte noch was sagen.
Hey Tiggleton, I know you're waiting for me at the final stage, so be ready.
Oh, und er sagt, hey Tiggleton, ich weiß, du wartest im Finale auf mich, also mach dich bereit. Das ist eine kleine Ansage. Tiggleton ja definitiv einer der individuell stärksten Spieler hier. Wobei ich immer wieder sagen muss, wenn man Tiggleton mit den 4 Chinesen und den 4 Koreanern vergleicht, dann klar, der ist genauso gut, aber er bekommt schon ganz schön viel Liebe ab. Natürlich einfach nur, weil er auch so ein famous Gesicht ist, ne? Also der hat halt einfach mit seinem riesen Stream und mit so viel Content, wo er drin ist, natürlich unheimlich viele Leute, die ihn kennen aus der PUBG-Szene.
Okay.
Deswegen sind wir mal gespannt, was
Eine
passiert,
Philippine ist
wenn
genockt worden
und das
und
tatsächlich
ab ins Auto gepackt worden zum Wiederretzen. Ich bin mal gespannt, ob sie es noch durchkriegen.
vom Finale.
Jawohl. Und wir haben tatsächlich schon den ersten genockten Spieler, nämlich einen der Filipinos, wenn ich das richtig sehe. Hier auf der Map auf jeden Fall. Warum genockt? Wissen wir das?
Er ist von den Norwegern aus dem
okay.
Hafen, also aus dem alten, wie heißt das nochmal, die untergegangene Stadt? Ja, aber wie hat man das denn früher nochmal genannt?
Du meinst Venedig.
Venedig, ja, nee, aber ich meine sogar irgendwas mit A.
Ja, du meinst den Boatyard.
Ja, ich denke, Amsterdam ist es auch nicht.
Atlantis.
Nochmal? Diese
Atlantis.
mystische und Atlantis, Dankeschön. Genau das, vielen, vielen lieben Dank an den Chat. Einen wunderschönen guten Tag. Es ist schön, ich kann mich immer darauf verlassen, dass ihr, wenn ich dämlich bin, mir helft dabei, weniger dämlich zu sein. Hier übrigens auch genau dieser Knock. Trifft er den jetzt gleich mit der Ace und knockt ihn von hier? Ach du Schande. Okay, Intense hat richtig Bock, Team Norwegen.
Was? Kelps hat sich mit seinem Auto selber überfahren.
Oh, sie haben es so aussehen lassen, als wäre das dieser Knock von ihm gewesen. Wahnsinn, Wahnsinn, Wahnsinn. Übrigens hier vielleicht mal ein paar kleine Informationen, weil ich gesehen habe, dass wir heute 2, 3 komplett neue Menschen mit dabei haben. Oder nicht komplett neue, aber die noch nicht ganz so viel PUBG E-Sport gespielt haben. Wenn wir vielleicht mal einen kurzen Blick auf die Map werfen können, liebe Regie, dann können wir einmal einen Mini-Superschnell-Crashkurs reinbringen in PUBG E-Sport. PUBG E-Sport ist ein Game, das mit normalerweise 16, und so ist das hier auch jeden Tag, Teams gespielt wird, auf bis zu 4 unterschiedlichen Maps. Das sind Erangel, Miramar, Rondo und Tago. Man spielt in PUBG E-Sport sowohl um die Punkte, die man über die Fights, die nennen wir Killpoints, jeder Abschluss.
Boah, sorry, ey. Ich muss doch lieber...
Show me what you got, Savior. What
Wir
you get,
gucken
my
das
friend?
Englische.
Anything good? Or is it Leo who's grabbing it?
Wir gucken das Englische.
No, who picked it up?
Heute.
Show me!
Is it a DBS?
Show me!
It might be a DBS.
Probably was.
Not
Well, who got
picked
the
it up.
level 3 gear at least? Savior must have.
Yeah, and they need some good gear going in today. What, they're in 8th place? And I'm going to say they're probably the steadiest team in the lobby. They play very, it's like very flat line. I can't imagine their heart rates get too high. They've got a job. They try to do it. And there we go. Look, we're seeing it what you can say.
Also der Philippiner, der genockt war im Auto eingesteckt wurde, der ist auf jeden Fall wieder geretzt worden. Scheint jetzt noch keiner dabei zu sein, der ein Mitglied im Team verloren hat.
He gets paid to talk, so
he does, but he gets especially challenging when the UK is doing well. So, you know, I don't root against the UK. I root against
die Deutschen und die
you say challenging, he say patriotic.
erstes malaysischen
As good a chance as anybody.
Gegner sind in der Nähe. Da haben wir unseren Brax, der anscheinend die Rolle des Speers eingenommen hat, so wie in richtigen Kriegszeiten. Der macht das eigentlich relativ gut. Mir ist auch gestern schon aufgefallen, dass die Deutschen mehr auf 2-2 Teamplay stehen. Also die kommen auf jeden Fall zu viert immer zusammen, aber einer aus dem Zweierteam ist ein Speer, der guckt immer mal wieder auf erhöhten Anhören, wo andere Teams sein könnten, wo sie hingehen können. Und das machen sie tatsächlich ganz gut. Hier kommt auch wieder einer zusammen, der Franzose.
Love to see it. Sky there for France doing a little bit of research. This might be a more difficult game for France, potentially, depending on how these circles shape out for them. I think this could be one of those games that you're really going to test their kind of macro ability, their ability to read the map, to read what's going on in front of them. Coming in from a southern edge a little bit later than most.
Das könnte es gleich nochmal knallen.
How is it always Canada? Why is it always Canada?
Ein Kanadier und Malaysia.
Because they let the first car go through, and this could be really bad for Malaysia to kick things off. Now, for
Kann jetzt passieren, dass der Erste aus dem Spiel genommen wird. Ein Kanadier 1 gegen 1, tatsächlich. Oh, da kommt noch ein Malaysia. Oh. Oh, die wussten das. Er hat eine gute Info anscheinend. Oh. Ah, nee, die Granate wird ein bisschen treffen. Der erste Knock und 2 Knocks von Malaysia. Oh. Damn. Jetzt kommt der letzte Malaysia aus dem Team, aber Kanada hat ihn schon längst gespottet. Oh, Germany kommt an, hat was von dem Fight mitgekriegt und vielleicht machen sie den Sack zu bei denen und holen sich ein paar Genockte. 2 Germanys sind da und kommen.
Gonna have to go for the med kit here. Blue zone starting to come out though. They want to try to finish the job, but I believe he got the heal off just in time.
Oh, Blue Zone.
Blue zone looks like it might have come up just a bit shallow.
Schade.
Anyway. Still a lot of work to do here.
Oh, ey, da kommt ja richtig die Party. Da sind jetzt noch die Polen dabei und Indien kommt jetzt auch ran. Oh, das wird ein Gemetzel da an diesem Ort. Ah, ich habe ein ganz ungutes Gefühl. Oh, die Kanadier sind wieder auf. Sehr gut. Hat ihn gefirstet. Ja, der ist raus. Sehr gut. Ein Kill für Germany. Spielen sehr, sehr aggressiv. Das ist sehr gut. Die Indien hat sich wieder aus dem Staub gemacht. Guckt zur Ambition nochmal anscheinend. Granate. Oh, nice. Chris, nice. Ein Kanadier ist noch am Stand. Und anscheinend wirklich haben die Deutschen gerade gut aufgeräumt. Müssen aber aufpassen, der Adam ist noch am Start. Nicht, dass sie... Jetzt kommt noch die Verstärkung, die sind jetzt aufgerückt. Boah. Ja, da, Germany. Mika hat Adam rausgenommen aus dem Spiel. Dann steht es jetzt für Germany, 3 Kills gemacht. Oh, einer ist genockt. Hoffentlich kriegen sie den wieder hoch.
Algenbot's going to continue to chase a bit, but man, he's got to be really careful here. You're opening yourself up to a bunch of different team sightlines. Takes a few shots there at India. Checking his surroundings. Sweden in the meantime, making their rotation. They're way outside of the circle. Turkey in front of them just a bit. They're going to be coming in a little bit late. France already ahead of both of these teams.
Der wurde wieder aufgeholt. Germany ist wieder voll am Start. Alle 4 wieder am Leben. Also beziehungsweise der eine Genockte ist wieder... Steht wieder. So. Die Türken rotieren.
And this is not a problem France had yesterday. The amount of times they would have a 2-2 split on the edge of the circle and nobody would be coming in from behind them, it might be a bit different today.
Yeah, it looks like they're aware of it, though. I'm seeing a regroup there. They had kind of fanned a player out to try to get some information to France's north side. Denmark going to be seeing that there's absolutely nobody up there. Some space available for free, and they're going to start making their move. I think they're going to try to claim the top of Everest, do a little mountain climbing for themselves. Teddy out in the open.
Spanier, und was ist da? Ina. Was ist Ina? Polen ist es doch, oder? Ne, ist nicht Polen. Oh. Indonesien, okay. Oh, 2 Türken sind genockt. Türkei ist raus aus dem Game. Und Malaysia auch. Kanada auch. So, 3 Teams schon mal raus.
No doubt about it. Trick has a bolt in his hand. By the way, that was the level 3 gun that they had picked up earlier. I was like, what was it? Now we know, MG3, and he puts it to phenomenal use. Setsa now looking for another angle onto Spain. Holding with that bolt is Indonesia. That could be really useful in a fight like this, but Bard has another angle off in the distance. Trying to find it.
Nicht so gute Shots leider.
Teddy can use some blue zones.
Oh, die Dänen haben hier oben den Berg eingenommen, aber wir müssen aufpassen, die Schweden kommen auch den Berg hoch. Oder gehen gerade wieder ein bisschen runter. Oh. Der wurde richtig weggesprayt. Wird versucht zu firstet. Oh. Hoffentlich jetzt keine Granate. Boah. Das war ein Close Fight. 3 HP überlebt.
But Bard was just a little bit quicker on the trigger. Now you've got Fax finding some good shots. Trick gonna go down there just around the edge. And now gonna reposition. Indonesia just bit off a little bit more than they could chew here. Out in the open is Demolizer. Oh, almost gets the knock to blue zone.
Beide schöne Granaten. Indonesia ist genockt worden von Spanien. Boah. Das waren schon richtig saubere Granaten von allen beiden. Also das war schon Schmackofatz.
But the fight is not done. Indonesia are still here. UK are still gatekeeping. And this is phase 3. So this is the point now, Paper, where you're not going to get back up above 75 HP. That's what you're stuck with, which makes all these gunfights harder. It means that you can't take as much damage as you'd like to. And really, it means we're really on a knife edge.
Absolutely. And I think UK is kind of piecing that together, what you're talking about, and saying, well, let's just try to find our best gatekeeping position possible. Teddy is going to get another knock there. Indonesia still fighting here. Spain briefly had a numbers advantage, but now it's a squared up 2v2. Shadow around the corner, but it's the shot-off shotgun from Teddy. And they're looking for the last player. He just can't quite convert, but his teammate,
Spanien
it's actually going to be the Blues that's
raus.
going to do the job for him.
Yeah, Indonesia, they are going to get those extra few points. Vard will try to get T-Bone back in the... Really? Oh, he's keeping the vehicle safe. He's staying hidden because he knows that once he starts to activate it, attention will be drawn this way. But for Team UK, this is the right thing. But the only problem they're going to have is if you look at the map right now, when you get him back in, there's nowhere to land where he's going to be able to find loot unless his team wins the gunfight. So don't be surprised if you see him just pull that parachute early and be a scout for the rest of the team and tell them what's free, what's not free, what way they can rotate
Also,
It could also depend
UK
on what they
hat
loaded up their cars with. This is the other thing you can do if you're
T-Bone
thinking ahead.
geretzt.
That is kind of risky though, because you want to have Panzers, you want to have a bunch of
Ein
other stuff in your
Retz.
trunk like heals, extra level 2 vests and helmets. So you're kind of gambling a little bit.
Indonesia muss hier reinfahren gerade mit 2 Leuten. Hat keinen einfachen Weg und UK muss auch reinfahren. Und jetzt T-Bone muss man gucken, wo der landet. Es wird wahrscheinlich nicht einfach. Kann gut sein, dass er es auch gleich einfach wieder aus dem Game genommen wird. Denn die Spieler hier sind so gut, dass sie natürlich auch Leute aus der Luft einfach snacken können.
Another couple of teams that have been put out a little bit by that shift is Sweden and France. They're pretty close by here by, you know, Comet and Backflip, where they'll look to make their way inside the circle. Now, I think that France, you look at what they're going to move into.
Die Deutschen haben eine ganz gute Position hier in der Mitte.
Philippines have got the compound just south of ruins as well.
Ja,
So
da
for France, they are
fangen
going
wir
to
an,
have to fight
T-Bone
to get a good
zu
spot inside this
beschießen.
next phase, which I know it's like, yeah, well, Gibson, of course they're going to have to fight. We're late into
Und
the
die
game and all the
nächsten.
good spots are usually taken already.
Schweden,
No, for sure.
Norwegen schießt auch auf T-Bone und haben natürlich auch genug Bullets dabei, das zu versuchen. Oh, oh. Okay. Ah, er ist raus. Er ist tot. Ja, schade. Hat er jetzt versucht, aber leider nichts gebracht. Oh, die Engländer kommen nah an die Deutschen ran. Und die Schweden haben sich auch schon positioniert, mit ihren Autos eine kleine Wall gemacht für die nächste Zone. Sehr interessant zu sehen. Frankreich kommt jetzt auch rangefahren in die nächste Zone. Boah, jetzt wird's spannend. Die Teams sind immer näher beieinander und bauen sich hier ein.
Who knows, maybe even UK might think about trying to put some pressure onto them as well. The real question for me is, what does Japan do in this situation with France rotating ahead of them? Do they try to take the fight against them? They do lose Fevin to the Philippines on a fight on their eastern side, and they're going to take another knock. They're falling apart. They're just dying.
Yeah, look, they're under a ton of pressure, and that's 2 kills for Philippines. Now Vard is going to step up. He'll get the knock onto Nidex. Got Balzac in his sights a little further away, but he knows it's a 2-2
Granaten.
split, so you can't commit fully over that
Granaten in den Matchups immer super interessant, weil die treffen meistens ziemlich gut.
Condensing on this tiny little position, and now Marush from Taipei is going to start throwing those nades into that gap, and this is where Sweden's position starts to become a problem. Another nade, another bit more damage, and those vehicles start exploding, and they're in a ton of trouble, and there you go. That'll be hot and spicy, and here come the blue zones.
Buzz has to go huge here.
Boah, die Autos sind explodiert. Ein Schweden ist genockt. Die Engländer greifen jetzt auch mit dem Teamfight ein. Und Taipei, 3 Knocks, ein genockter tot. Der letzte steht nur noch. Oh.
Yeah, this is
Oh.
bad. Get going, get that momentum, get up, get running, because you're running out of time here, Vard. He sends it over, it's going down the hill, but I think Balzac, he's started driving this way. That could have been so bad for Balzac.
Boah, wenn da jetzt jemand gewesen wäre.
Panzer being shot into who knows where off screen. UK now having to put up some smokes to keep that flank clear so they can continue to harass some of their teams on their west. And they're doing a nice job of it, getting a little help with some crates as well here to bolster some of their utility, potentially weapons as well. Gonna have to see if anybody scooped anything up nice, or if it is, as you said, you know what, the DBS, you might start to consider it at this phase of the game, especially if the circle's anywhere near you in a couple phases. That actually could prove to be very useful.
You know what I like to call the DBS? The dirty big shotgun. That's what it is. And in an Irish accent, that sounds phenomenal.
I wasn't sure where you were going with that at first. I was like,
it sounds great in an Irish accent. Doffy here from Denmark, he'll manage to get that knock on to Manchester. And then that'll be him getting the knock onto Cappy. Denmark.
2 Polen genockt. Und eine Granate von den Schweden. Oh.
They're on the move. They thought about pushing, but I think it would just take a little bit too long to get in the cleanup, and they'd rather keep their position in the circle.
And Beamy and Doffy have a really nice angle to keep Germany at bay at least a little bit. They really want to get this res, but it's Chris has found a way through and managed to get a quick knock on to Gustav. Grenade is going to be out. It's going to be an easy flush for its
Nice, Chris. Noch ein Kill für Germany. 4 Kills.
2 kills again to give him 15 total. Fex wants some more points. UK hungry. They know they're in kind of an awkward position. Even though they're center circle, a lot of teams are going to have angles, so they need to start fighting. Fex trying to harass Germany. This might have just bought Denmark a little bit of extra time. Out in the open, Nedex going to be flushed out. Algin going to be claiming that point for the Philippines.
22 minutes gone, and we're still not inside the placement window. There is still 9 teams up, but we're starting to see a lot of these knocks come through. France, in this bowl, are in a world of pain. A Sky will get knocked by Fuzzface and Flush. So Sweden, from what was a horrible position about 5 minutes ago, are still alive, still picking up some points, and now Fuzzface almost gets the knock onto Balzac, but a nade and a couple of smokes to close the gap a little bit further.
Oh, die nächste Zone ist nicht gut für Germany. Die müssen da ihr Place verlassen.
Is going to find another CJ from afar, going to claim another point for the Philippines. UK still around this crate, still holding on. I love the way they're kind of measured aggression here for the UK. They're pushing out, keeping other teams, honest, doing some damage to them to keep this position safe. This is not an easy spot to play from for the UK.
It is not, but they are getting a little bit of help by the timings of some other fights as well. Now the zone has fully evicted Germany from this compound now, but Denmark are just going to hope to rush the process as they've got 3 kills on the board.
Oh.
They got the knock, but Zerat is back on his feet. 4 members of Germany, as that'll be the end of Indonesia. Let's see if anybody can close the gap. Maybe Philippines could take away that top spot as they find themselves on the south side of the circle. But Team UK, they've got them in their sights, and it's a really tough position for Philippines because if you move closer to India, UK have got you in their sights.
At this point, for the Philippines, you either have to wrap all the way over to the eastern side, because there's a little bit of safety over there that Algenbots has found, or you have to crash India. Those are kind of your 2 best choices.
Oh, schöne Blutzone.
Better of those is to just kind of focus themselves a little bit more east once the circle starts to close. The UK's got
ein bisschen zurückgehalten auf jeden
the other
Fall.
teams that you know are out there up on that western side, deal with that. You can give yourself a better chance to get another win here and really secure your spot.
So, die Deutschen müssen jetzt aus den Häusern rausmoven. Sie sind schon sehr gut eingekesselt.
Yeah, the blue zone though, phase 6, this does not tickle anymore. This thing is pain if you get stuck in it.
Oh no.
He steps out, he gets the knock onto Chris.
Chris
That
knocked.
should be a point. Rupek, India third party, they get involved as Zerat
Sehr gut.
for the second time. But Mika with the M249, how many times have we seen this in the past? Really shredding Denmark apart. They fall, the Danes go down in 7th. But for Germany now, they're running into the waiting arms of UK, and UK will sweep a couple of them up, but Mika still alive and kicking, but he goes down to the blue.
Einer ist noch am Leben.
Oh,
Oh, Germany raus. Aber 7 Punkte geholt. Das ist sehr gut.
Trying to let loose now, trying to follow up on what his teammates started, but it comes up just short. Hits the front of the hillside. Another grenade up and over. Is this one gonna be good? Yes, it is. Gets the re-knock onto Algin. Calb's now trying to retreat to safety.
And they've got the time to let this fight breathe as well. Nobody is coming over to third party. This is the problem for Philippines, though, is they've got nobody else here. The rest of the players are locking horns with Team UK. But Rupesh gets another knock for India from inside the compound. This is, yes, they're in a really good position. Yes, they full-sended earlier and they got a little bit of luck, but they're starting to get the rewards. I really want to see India pick up a couple of kills now at the end of the game and take advantage of this because, as I said before, the good teams win the games they're supposed to.
Absolutely. Fuzzface trying to use those stuns to get things started here against CJ. Already one knock on a 10 trip, but Fuzz didn't fancy his angle, worried about a backstab as well, so checking, being diligent. We saw it yesterday how good he was for Sweden in terms of getting info. Now, whether it cost him his life or is not, or cost him his life or not, he was often the guy who was finding that crucial piece for Sweden to get further into the game.
And India have been saving a mortar for the late game. Let's see if Karku can land this right where he needs to. The first one goes a little too far, so you rechamber, you shorten the aim, you send another one up to the sky and see if maybe you get some more value for money, but it looks like he did not send. There we go, it's gonna land, but it's a little too far away. Karku sends another one off into the distance, but he's just not quite got his technometry down just yet.
That's right, it's almost min-distance there. For the mortar, actually. When you look at the map, you can tell initially. Now, UK's ahead of it, so they're too close, I believe, for the mortar at this point. Fuzzface still doing a ton of damage, just popping heads on UK. Those helmets cannot be in great shape for them. He's gonna make a reposition, but CJ out, 10 trip, gonna finish the job with the AUG spray. Philippines, 8 kills, another nice game for them.
4v3, v3, v2 as we get into the very dying stages of this game. India still with the compound in the center of the circle, still hanging on, and it should do into phase 8 as well. Norway, look, they're regrouping. They're wrapping round to the north because they're just prodding. They know that Philippines have 2 players to the south, and they know that the UK have 3. The question that they need to ask themselves is which of these teams is going to be the biggest problem. And I think that they feel that everyone else will keep Philippines occupied, so they can push with 10 trip, gets the knock on the Rupesh, and is this a door open for the Philippines into this compound?
I think it has to be. They have to make a move. You know, there's so much here that India has to be aware of. Oh my God, Michael, just barely not getting run over by the exploding UAS. But now, I don't know if it's enough in the circle that they can stand behind it. No, it's not gonna cut off angles from India. So they're gonna try to make a maneuver. Highman ready. It is a flush there for UK, but Michael immediately knocked in response by CJ. Vex goes down to the blue, so just Vard left.
Yeah, this ain't looking good for Team UK now, but it's still a pretty good start to the day. 4 kills on the board and inside the top 4. But because everyone else is picking up points, they're only in 7th place. CJ, last player alive for the Philippines, but here comes Norway. India's last stand here inside the compound. Nakarku will fall at the hands of Intense. Now he will, with a dead man's hand, get him in with the nade, but there's only 2 players for India left standing. And you see what I see, shotguns at the ready to repel Norway if they dare set foot in their territory.
Yeah, India needs to make a stand. Oh my God, that grenade looked like it might do some damage, but Risen able to sidestep it just a bit. Intense now gonna let loose with another molly, trying to buy themselves a little bit of extra space for this res. A blue zone not gonna be anywhere that is going to be a threat. James creeping around the window. Risen seems to be somewhat keen. Somebody could be coming from that angle. Meanwhile, it's actually gonna be James who's gonna finish Vard off. CJ out there, James gonna throw a grenade his direction. Norway has planted themselves firmly inside of India's territory, but can they deal with these last couple of players, those shotguns like you were talking about?
Yeah, I don't even think, oh, look, there's the little rappel as well. They've got the ability to go from building to building, but I think the push is going to come now. Now the M249, Empire, no, he gets caught out by the door. He gets one. He almost gets the second, but James is there. And now it's all down to Rupesh. He is lit in the flames. He should be able to bandage himself into safety. But Norway, they know the longer this goes on, the more chance it opens up now. Philippines, they will fall at the hands of James as he is having himself a day. 5 kills on the board. Rupesh is the last player up, shotgun at the ready, but he's going to throw smokes. How much does he wish it was a stun grenade he had? He'll jump on out. James will free fire through the smoke. Rupesh gets one. Surely surely not. Norway, they get the win. Norway take it in the last or first map of the day. And they're a little bunch of fans up in the crowd. You can hear them sing. But what a game by them, Paper.
And 80 letting the fans out there know, yep, we've got this. We're going to that final stage. That is a statement game here from Norway. Beautiful control of their eastern edge and finding a perfect moment to get
Norwegen macht das erste Team heute.
into that compound and find a way
Norwegen macht das erste Team heute, ja genau. Den ersten Win today.
At least today, they're not going to break their heart, their 80 hearts, as they're able to get that win, and that puts them into the driving.
Und India ist auch Zweiter geworden, aber hat nur ein Kill gemacht, das ganze Game über. Das ist zwar eine gute Platzierung, aber keine vielen Punkte.
Can kind of help build some momentum here so they can have a good showing. I know how hard they've been working. Everybody's been talking about it behind the scenes here, that India has been grinding scrims for the last month, like non-stop. So hopefully they can bounce back a little bit after a tough loss to Norway there, but they took some damage from, you know, the Philippines and other stuff. So tough kind of situation to find yourself in when you're trying to hold off 4 or 5 different teams from that compound.
I actually had breakfast with them and Gunnar a few days ago, and they were really picking for Gunnar's brain, and he was more than happy to help too, because you know what type of a guy he is. If anyone ever asks for help, he's more than happy to offer it, and they were utilizing it. They're like, there's no chance we can get we're not going to get the opportunity to learn from one of the best coaches inside the game. And I'm not going to lie, they were asking all the right questions, and not a lot of players are able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think they really want to make the most of their chance here at PNC 2025. A lot of these countries getting their first look at this global event, so want to make the most of it, and that's great to hear. As Poland, it did an okay job in the mid-game there, trying to find some space, but Denmark struck from behind and almost broke through Germany's lines, but it's Mika. He had something else to say. That M249, so ferocious in a situation like this where he can kind of just keep spraying, holding those angles, and even in that late blue, he's able to get the job done.
Yeah, those are the points. Those are the hit points the teams get that qualify them for the next stage of the event.
Deutschland hat es leider nicht zur Endzone geschafft, aber drin noch 7 Punkte geholt. Also es sieht auf jeden Fall gut aus, dass sie nach den nächsten Matches und die weiter so aggressiv spielen, die Punktzahl erreichen, um ins Finale einzuziehen.
Phases, especially if they could take down UK in front of them as well, but UK was standing tall, only 4 kills despite
12 Kills für Norwegen. Boah.
Yeah, and they love that as well. You know, they're fans, but they love putting their weight about inside a lobby. But I'm looking at the utility usage. 15 nades dropped on the map by Norway in that one. They had all 4 left alive into the late game. Their damage numbers were great. But I just thought that some of the decisions they made in that game were excellent. You know, when they pushed the Philippines, and then they were like, okay, we know they're at 2, but it doesn't suit us to go chase those rest of the kills. They rotated a little bit north, they got a full idea of where the UK was, and then when they realized everyone else was distracted, they crashed the compound. It was just good decision after good decision after good decision.
Yeah, fully agree. So impressed with Norway, which again, you know, you have 80 teams. Sure, makes sense. They are longtime veterans of PUBG Esports, so James is in fact going to be your man of the match. 5 kills for him, 576 damage. That is a solid effort, not even a little bit surprised. James is just so consistent throughout the years. The man is one of the best to ever pick up the mouse and keyboard.
Not bad for an old guy, right?
Right?
What I liked about it too, though, was his conversion of damage to kills. It was pretty good. But let's look at the overall leaderboard and how things stand from that match. Norway, of course, picking up 22 points. 13 more for the Philippines as well. And then you see a bit of a drop-off, right? 9 points down to 8. But the big surprise for me, teams that need points, for, you know, Japan, Turkey, Poland, 0 points for all of those sides.
That's tough. That's really rough. You know, Poland there just kind of got surrounded and blown apart pretty quickly. Turkey, I don't even remember what happened with them. It was so long ago in that match. They were the first team to go down. Look at the overall leaderboard. Norway now up to first place ahead of Indonesia. Both those teams, I think we can good to go. We can say they are
51
going
Punkte
to
für
be playing in the
Deutschland.
final stage. I have very little doubt they are going to be finding themselves playing tomorrow. Philippines, I think, very, very close to basically in there as well.
Yeah, they're right on the cusp, and you know it'd be something crazy if they don't pick up 5-6 points over the next 5 or 6 maps, right? It's nigh on impossible to not be able to do that, but I'm looking at that race for the top 8. To Chinese Taipei, they got some kills on the board. Canada, they picked up, was it 4 points for them, but they still didn't get enough to really close that gap on to 8th. Turkey's donut has left them on 34 points, and Poland are a couple of points further behind. But look at India climbing that table, 27, and you know what? They're not actually out of the race for the top 8 anymore with that placement.
No, I mean, honestly, probably another 35 points, and you're considering that you might be in there. You might be in that 8th place spot. Denmark as well needs probably about 45 more. Doable, that's not quite 10 points a game at this point, but you're really gonna have to step up. You're really gonna have a couple big games that are gonna earn you 10, 12, 15, maybe even more points than that to really give yourself a shot at playing in that final stage.
Yeah, let's have a look at our new lobby leaders. Norway on 48 kills as well. It goes to show that so many of their points are coming from the barrel of their gun, and they're not just a placement-heavy team. And then on the other side of that coin, you've India now in 12th, 27 points, 14 kills. Look at Ryzen, he's having himself a bit of an event. 7 kills on the board for him, and you know, if I'm not wrong, that's more points than they were able to get at the whole event the last time they competed.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. You're seeing glimmers for India. You're seeing things that give you some level of hope that, hey, they're starting to get that experience. They're able to take some of this knowledge, talk to some of the best in the business, bring that back home, and really start to pick up steam. All right, we are ready for our second game of the day. It will be Erangel once again here at PNC 2025 in the survival stage. Last time we're going to see Erangel for this particular lobby. We will, of course, be seeing it again throughout the event.
Geht's direkt weiter. Match Nummer 8.
Pretty similar to the last one, actually, now that I look at it.
Yeah, it's not too dissimilar. They just took the flight path and moved it maybe a kilometer further north, but it's the exact same pattern, and it does mean that a lot of teams will drop in the exact same spot. Like you're seeing Poland will go for their North George drop, Canada going for that split that you'll see in South George. But the thing I want to see is, will UK continue to go for that drop in and around Malta? Because it's Sweden, really. And
Malta. UK geht auf Malta drauf.
Bring your mind back to the very first map of this PNC. It was Indonesia that lost 2 players early to Michael, and I don't think they'll take that bridge anymore, especially if the circle does go north.
Yeah, I don't think so either. The whole thing about that, you know, what I keep thinking about when we talk about that very first game is the tone it's set for this event.
Die Deutschen und die Spanier,
It seems like
beziehungsweise 2 Deutsche, haben ein kleines Problem.
Team that I was expecting. There's some really good players on Malaysia, especially with Shen there, who is an absolute monster. They just haven't been able to get anything going. It is another Western circle, but way more to the south this time.
Yeah, this isn't good for Chinese Taipei. Savior, he's going to need a savior of his own, as he's going to play with the bull that is Shilla. But I think that once Shilla saw Leo come in, he was like, I don't know if Leo has a gun. I don't know if he's got backup. So I'm just going to get out of there. It's not worth taking the risk for 1 point.
Alter.
I think that's the right thing for Shilla to do.
Die haben sich da ums Auto gestritten. Der Türke hat dann natürlich zuerst das Auto.
But I think the exciting thing for me
Kritische Phase auf jeden Fall.
in a circle like this, can a team like Spain take advantage?
All right, we have an interview with Hyman from Norway. See how they're feeling after that win.
Hello, my name is Hyman from Team Norway. I really want to meet Himas from Team Vietnam, because Himas is in the final stage already. I must also qualify there. Our names are similar, but I'll show everyone who has the best version. Himas was out for me.
I could say something funny there, but I'm not going to, about the similarities in their name and what the difference is. But we'll move on.
So, die Deutschen und die Spanier sind nah beieinander geflogen. Jetzt zeigen sie leider nicht, was da passiert ist.
With the point tally they have, they're going to be
Das wüsste ich
guaranteed into those
schon mal
finals
gerne.
as things stand. And honestly, the Norwegian fans are just having the best time.
And they just came out and like showboated in front of the caster desk. Look, well deserved. They're playing out of their minds. I love to see it. I love the support that the fans have been able to bring for them. A lot of fans of Chinese Taipei here today too. Yeah.
Did you see what the Canada
Oh yeah,
team
I
auto
love
was?
this one.
It's
They
like-
showed this yesterday. It's so funny.
Yeah,
And then apologize.
And you know what the funny thing is? Those guys live up to the stereotype. They actually are the nicest people out there. And I think it's a good time to talk about it, right? Because obviously Godspeed brought up the news that this is the first time Joshy has ever left his hometown. And I spoke a bit to him about it. And he said that he was nervous yesterday. There were some jitters there. And you can understand it,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
The culture shock alone would be insane for him.
Yeah.
But he said we woke up this morning and the nerves are gone. He feels good and he's ready to go today. And I know Joshy, I've casted him for years in the Americas. He's a good player. And I think that now that those nerves are gone, we might be able to see the best version of him.
I hope so. I just need to see Canada avoid these early fights, and some of it's not even their fault, to be honest. It seems like some teams just kind of have similar ideas on these early rotations, and they end up scuffling
Okay, da
over
sind
it.
die jetzt
Speaking of
Spanier.
scuffling, it's the Philippines and Spain. Cows again. Drives
Da ist der erste
right
Knock.
over them, and they're just falling
Zwei
apart.
Spanier
Spain,
Knock.
All of a sudden, 3 players down. It's explicit, the only one alive. And they're just
Und-
going to put him in the car like, we're taking
Oh,
these points
no.
with us, bro.
No.
This is just mean. And honestly, they are essentially at this point. They're not
Oh
Spain,
je,
they're
steht nur noch
Spain,
ein
yes,
Spanier.
right? That's what they're in.
Der
And,
eine
I
genockte
love
Spanier
this. I
wird
absolutely love this.
verschleppt.
He's something on him. He's
Oh.
like,
He's look at him. He knows that the observers are watching him. Like he just knows. He's like, after what we just did, they gotta be watching this.
it's a felony. He's kidnapped him. He's thrown him in the back of the car, and he's just gone. And I think, yeah, Arbafak. You know, I hope Spain can see the funny side at least, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Also das ist
I think
schon
these players are all pretty good-natured and get that this is just a little bit of showboating.
Verarschung.
You know, the Philippines are probably feeling like, okay, we've done it. You know, we're in the final stage. I think these 3 points right here are the nail in that coffin.
Also klar, du wirst genockt,
Basiert.
basiert, aber du wirst noch verhöhnt, du wirst so verschleppt ins Auto und irgendwo hingefahren. Das ist schon eine richtige Disrespect-Aktion.
Credit to him.
Do you want more bad news for Spain?
Well, no, but
Ich glaube, wird mir sowas passieren, ich würde ausrasten.
oh
So
no.
that means with one player left alive, you're not getting the tags either. Because there's no reason for the Philippines to move off into the sunset and find somewhere else to play. And there you go, the Dragonov sings out. Calves will get an
Spanien
explicit
ist
balls.
raus.
And for Spain, it's another game where they're not going
Oder
to take
nicht?
advantage. Denmark, though, they're leaving George now. They're going to move south. And once again, they've got their pick of
Weird.
Everest. They can move up in that position. And Canada, interestingly enough, this time, they've not gone for the ice cream shacks on the southeast of Everest. They're going to go for the rocket ship split a little bit further to the west side of the circle. And that's a little adjustment for them, too, with the circle that we have.
Took me a minute. I'm like rocket ship. Oh yeah.
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 The building looks like a little rocket ship.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah. I was like, interesting. Yeah, no, I get it. All right, so just looking to see what Denmark wants to do this time around as they are going up in towards Everest again. I mean, gonna identify that this is open. This is a great vantage point. You know, you can really get a good lay of the land from up here and kind of figure out how you want to maneuver the rest of the way through. France, they're still pretty far outside of the circle. Japan hasn't left School and Razak yet. So they have to kind of stop up and make sure that they either take a clean fight or they don't get in a fight they don't want to.
Ouch.
This is kind of awkward, actually.
If France lose a player here, they're going to be so annoyed because there's no reason for them to expect that there's still someone playing this section of the map. And it looks like the shots on the Max from, I think Runax, he's got Max trapped behind a tree. That's why he's taking the shots. But in doing so,
Ich bin ein bisschen enttäuscht, seit den
Japanese
30 Sekunden, seit den 7 Minuten und den 30 Sekunden, haben sie nicht einmal die Deutschen gezeigt. Man weiß gar nicht, was bei denen so abgeht. Aber anscheinend haben die keinen Fights. Scheint es gut zu gehen. Und dementsprechend haben sie wahrscheinlich auch einen guten Spot.
Yeah, this is just too wide of a split here for Japan to be taking this fight. Fevin just caught out in the open, and France is happy to just drive around him. Not much he can do in response. His teammates can't find the angles they need. Now it's Goni's turn. He's being isolated. He's being picked off as he tries to see if he can find some kind of surprise angle here onto Balzac, but not really going to be given that chance. They suspect someone's around here, and you know, the good news for Japan is if France just fully peels off of this fight, you can get the revive through. That should be doable.
Yeah, you wonder why IMAX is drifting. It's because he has lost a tire, and now here comes Nedex. Bit of a seat swap, but Goni is on the
Oh,
run.
da wird der Japaner gerade gejagt da über den Hügel.
You need to stay alive long enough to allow Mook to get up here and help
Der
you out.
hat
The
auch
question is,
kein
does he
Fahrzeug in
have
der Nähe.
the availability, the
Also das
evasiveness
ist,
to avoid the French
der
and
wird
get
ein
back
bisschen
to join the rest of the
umzingelt.
team?
Well, the right play here is to, at least if France is going to pick a fight with
Vielleicht hat
him,
er
to
Glück
try
und
to
kann
drag
dann
him
kommen.
into the sightlines of Mook. Meanwhile, Xavier up on a hill. Hot and spicy,
Boah.
hot and dead. Full bay.
Taipan
He's got Xavier
raus,
in
einer.
response. Mao Rush trying to do what he can to claim some kind of extra damage or knocks, but looks to be a little bit too far away there. And the rest of Chinese Taipei is driving at this. They might commit to a bit of a encirclement on top of Sweden.
I think encircle them to catch them out as they leave, right? Don't be in too much of a rush to go head on to run into a fight, but you're right. Circle them, lock out all their potential rotates, and get your revenge a little bit later inside the game. Runax, he's got the dragon off. He's going to look to get some revenge on the Fevin, but I don't know
Da,
what the tag
jetzt
is.
sieht man mal die Deutschen. Die sind da unten links in der Map ein bisschen verteilt. Oh, und müssen jetzt auf jeden Fall sich einen neuen Spot holen. Das könnte ein bisschen heikel werden, denn es sind schon viele Spots vergeben und die müssen da jetzt reinfahren.
No fighting just yet. That's what I want to see. I want to see them take some good fights here, get into that late game, and see if they can get themselves into a position to potentially qualify for the final stage. Going to group up. UK circling the wagons near, but still not really barreling in towards them at all. It looks like they're going to kind of commit more to the eastern side, maybe taking those hills that are just to the west of Pachinki. Norway sitting pretty. Another nice spot for them here in the early part of the game. Could be really powerful as this one drags on. I mean, now the circle can kind of go just about anywhere. There's a little bit of water on the north, but there's really a good opportunity that could end on Everest, could end on Gatka, could go east. So could see kind of some interesting situations arise. Field circles very much in play.
It's very similar to the last map though, right? It's so similar.
Ja, und die Dänen, die haben mal wieder Godspots, die schnappen sich letzte Zeit immer, also letzte Map auch schon, den Mount Everest, den schönen Berg. Das ist natürlich immer Top-Info, wo die Leute sind.
So many teams find themselves in different spots. And Fevin, look where Fevin is going right towards Michael. He's going right towards Michael on the southeast side of the circle, and he might just be about to fall for a second time.
Was machen eigentlich die Dänen? Ich sehe sie gar nicht auf der Map.
He might be able to drop and kind of get past Michael before Michael sees. Oh nope, never mind. Too late. Oh, Michael has a really good opportunity.
Oh.
T-Bone with an SLR. T-Bone.
One tap.
Dude, T-Bone's like
Das ist T-Bones Rache aus dem letzten Match.
That's what I mean. Yes, there's people who were complaining about the recall system, like, oh, you know, it's hard. These players are dropping in with no helmet and vest against the best players in the world. T-Bone shows you, just because you've been brought back, it doesn't mean that you've got any guarantee of getting boots on the ground. It also means that if you're a generous player, you can give points.
Oh, das ist auch.
Yeah, exactly. It just making the rich richer, sure. That, by the way, I want to see that from T-Bone's perspective, because that is a long-range shot that he just hit. That is, even at this level, that is super impressive. Love to see that from him as UK is fanned out on the outer edge of the western side of Pachinki. Japan's going to kind of nestle in between some of their players, so that could kind of be a little bit tricky to deal with for both teams, depending on how things shake out. Germany, edge play as usual. That is 100% their style, and it's Mika again. He's going to get 10 trip, that heavy damage dealer for the Philippines. Looks like there isn't much
Komm schon, mach
the
den.
Philippines can do about this at the moment. Calbs is driving at it, but I don't think he's going to get there in time.
Komm schon, hörst du den?
The last shot, he gets
Ah.
the Calbs are going to get the cover. So
Shit.
I think they will. And look at it. He's
Oh,
he was
1
second away from
HP.
playing. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, Chris.
He's gonna land up, does he have a knee?
Fährt jetzt ran.
He knows the res is being
Guckt
pulled
nach den
up. Now
Genockten.
there's
Komm, eine Granate.
Look
Wirf
at
eine
it.
Granate.
Make it a third. The rest of the Philippines are not too far
Na
away.
klar, das Spray erstmal.
Careful
Auch
of that, because
gut.
Philippines are pushing on up. And
Jetzt kommt die
honestly,
Granate.
he was maybe,
Leider ein
what,
bisschen zu
3
spät.
seconds late to that fight, and that means that all of Philippines are back on their feet. And now Germany, well, with the circle pop the way it is,
Ah, das
they
wären
might still want to take this fight.
wahrscheinlich ein paar Punkte
You mentioned
gewesen.
it at the beginning of the fight. If Chris had a frag, that's done. That fight is over. He didn't have one, so he couldn't really, get himself into that position and get that re-knock as quickly as he would have liked. Philippines escaping disaster, but out of the frying pan into the fire. Brax, grenade at the ready. He's under pressure now. Germany trying to...
Grandiose Granate, aber leider kein Knock. Jetzt einen genockt aus dem Auto.
It's Chris's hand. Zareth is taken down 10 trip. 10 trip is going to get the confirm of a point here.
2 Philippiner sind genockt. Und bei Germany ist einer gefirstet worden. Hoffentlich können sie erst noch das Team wipen. Oh. Boah. Ein Philippiner wurde auch gefirstet. Einer ist noch knock. Und der bleibt auch noch genockt. Die machen gerade nichts.
They almost got enough smoke out for Calbs, but Zerath saw it coming.
Well, now they can play a little bit of defense. Chris getting pinned behind a rock by Sweden, in fact, so he can't get that AWM into position to maybe punish that rooftop position that Algebot's had.
Oh.
Here comes a fight, and actually Turkey.
Oh.
Shilla gets 2 quick ones.
2 saubere, krasse Sprays. Kann er den Fuß noch treffen? Nein, kann er nicht. Granate kommt. Und saubere Granate. Alter Schwede. Hat er den weggefetzt. Wow.
That is the Shilla I wanted to see going into this event. So good from him, and for Japan now for Mook. He's got a red zone on top of him now, so it could go from bad to worse as he tries to flee from this position. Malaysia not too far away as they will send it up into the sky, and it's bang on the money. Jervis will land right on top of Code Marco.
Wow.
The flush. Brilliant use.
Im Turnier mit Mörser weggehauen. Aber das Kerl wurde der einfach gefirstet. Starkes Play, Lucky Shot. Alles berechnet. Muss auch ein bisschen Glück dabei haben, mit dem Mörser einfach einen wegzuhauen. Und das im Turnier. Hut ab, Respekt.
Big enjoyer. Love to see Zareth going for it. Him and it's Chris going to be rocking a couple bolt action rifles for themselves and for Germany. A little work to do now. Circle has centered up. Denmark able to maintain their position as kings of the mountain. France, though, UK on the outer edges. So EMEA all eyeing that high ground positioning.
And these are the positions right now that France are in, that they took advantage of yesterday. A 2-2 split at the edge of the circle when they know that their flanks are clear. They've done it again. They told me today that they didn't think they were going to get that opportunities because teams watch back the VODs, but they're in one of those positions again. Still, you've got Shilla keeping an eye on what's going on, maybe hoping to find a little bit more loot and get back up, but I think for Turkey, this is a tough rotate into the zone. Like, you got to go through the likes of India, Malaysia, all feeding in the same way. Germany, on the other hand, where did they go for this spot? Because it looks like they're going towards where Chinese Taipei are playing in that little dip. by the cross of the road, but it's already taken.
Oh, die fahren über Taiwan vorbei. Oh, nein, nein, nein. Oh.
But you're going to lose a couple for Germany. I believe just it's Chris on his feet right now. Malrush wants to make sure they get these points. They need them so desperately on that bubble position in 8th is Chinese Taipei. So need to make sure that every point available goes your way. It's Chris. I don't know how in the world he survived, but he has gotten a little bit further ahead of Chinese Taipei. Turkey as well, making their move, settling up on a hillside. They have India behind them. Please, it's Chris. Just once. Do it for me, man. Do it.
AWM.
Leo again getting another
Ja,
knock
du
there.
musst aufpassen, Mensch.
He's having himself a pretty good event so far. And you know, you might not be as good as you once were, but you can be as good once as you ever were. So, you know, another drop like that. Yeah, you like that one.
Fahren jetzt ran.
You got Jiawei moving in. Oh, Schillen, no!
Ah, Chris ist raus. Germany eliminated. Shit. Haben aber 4 Punkte geholt.
I've seen that way too often.
It happens, I suppose, trying to go for the res, but India knows that Turkey is weak. They are down to their last player up. It is going to be a finish. Actually, Beamy claiming that point for Denmark. Crossberg just going to prone down a little bit of extra smoke for cover. No throwables here for Karku to really flush out that position. So they're just going to have to keep flanking out to try to find these points. But if they can clean this position out, they're actually going to be safe for a little bit. The car explosion does not find any more kills, and that one will. It is going to be Karku in India claiming a point.
Die Türken sind auch raus.
Clearing a section of the map for themselves as well, which is just as important as the kill itself. We get ready for that next circle swap, and we go to
Und die Dänen haben echt guten Spot da auf dem Berg. Haben wahrscheinlich hinten einen aus Indonesien genockt.
Here between not only Norway and Sweden, but Malaysia too.
Yeah, Malaysia needs to get a good fight. Needs to kind of try to
Malaysia
find a way to scale into the late game. But the
ist drin, hat einen Punkt leider
as
nur.
well found onto their players. Sweden is going to lose one to Poland on the backside of all of this. IMP with an AK and a 2X going to do some damage. Long-range shots from France as well, being peppered into this battle, but nobody's really been able to kick this off. None of those knocks with the nades finding their mark, so everybody's just kind of at a standstill.
Yeah, and you can see that Ketter's just keeping an eye. Beamy will get a flush as we're starting to see Denmark. They know that opportunities to climb this table are limited, and they have a long ways to go. Now Daffy, he'll look off. The amount of information they can farm, but back down to the Norway.
Die Granate kann gut sein.
Ein
bisschen Damage gemacht. Sortieren die so ein bisschen wieder. Das ist leider ein bisschen nochmal zu weit. Oh. Norwegen ist sauberer Spray.
Pete's been good today. Pete doing some damage as well to Intens. Trying to scoot forward are the rest of Norway. Hyman going for the bolt, looking for a target. Empty, tucked in behind the US, not going to offer him the opportunity.
Fällt ja aus Norwegen raus. Und Malaysia Amt ist auch jetzt eliminated worden. Malaysia ist tot für die Runde mit 1 Punkt. Die Mannschaft wird uns auf jeden Fall sehr schwer haben, ins Finale überhaupt reinblicken zu können. Indien auch 1 Punkt, sind immer noch dabei, aber mit 1 Punkt kommen die halt leider auch nicht weit.
Yeah, they need to take a clean fight here and quickly against Sweden, so they don't get backstab too late. Intens is hungry, and Intens has a double.
Wow.
Quickly, Rupesh and Risen down. Intens out into the blue now, wants to take one more. Can't get the spray to go, though. Jeems on the drive-by, finds another. Car's going to explode. He has to get out of there and look for the final member. Trying to claim some points. Hot and spicy going down. It's actually Poland who finds him. Drop dropping down the rocks, and it's Mome taking out India, but he is on his last legs.
Oh,
Yeah, instead of
Schweden
being the
raus.
bread, they were the meat
Boah.
filling as they went between the two teams, and that's what happens. And now James is the
Oh,
last
das war
player
richtig
standing
knapp.
for Norway.
Auf den
Inside
letzten
blue,
HP
7
Norwegen
more
gehealt.
kills, plus a placement.
Also weiterhin im Game.
Back on top
7
of
Punkte
everything.
holen die sich auf jeden Fall.
Still
Ich
there.
meine, die sind eh Erster.
Making
Die
their
sind
way up the hill.
wahrscheinlich schon längst
France
im
get active on the leaderboard.
Finale drin.
And Leo for Chinese
Ich meine, die
Taipei is
müssen
still
nur
holding
72
strong.
Punkte
You
insgesamt
have to
haben.
think that the Reds on the
Aber
polished
na klar,
tablet
können die
and
natürlich
Dawson
mehr
Gustav
Punkte holen,
will
indem sie
clean
einfach
up that
weiter im
one.
Game
And it's
sind.
another point for Denmark. 5 points for them here.
Dänemark
Kills
hat
alone.
immer noch
And they know
ziemlich
that
gute
this is
Position.
this is the game they really have to take advantage of.
Und Kanada versucht da ein bisschen ranzupushen. Und Indonesien ist auch noch da am Berg. Aber scheint Climbing-Probleme zu haben. Norwegen ist tot. Aber was ist passiert? Ist in die Zone gegangen? Wollte er keinen Punkt mehr vergeben, oder was? Das.
Poland has a little bit of cover to work with underneath the mountain for themselves, and they have nobody on their east, nobody on their south, so it should be relatively safe. Let these teams up here do a little fighting,
Oh,
get a better position.
bisschen weit die Granate, oder?
Level 3 gear, I saw from Marsalek as well, and that could be the difference in these fights as well, as that helmet will be essentially a second life for him.
Ja, und die kleinen Zieglein.
Scheiße.
Scheiße.
It massively hampers the angles at which you can take gunfights into, and the blue zone is creeping their way now as well. So the problems keep on piling up for Indonesia, but they're one of the teams that can accept problems. 73 points, second place on the leaderboard, inside the top 8 once more. It's not all bad for them if you're an Indonesia fan. But I feel like Denmark, even though they're at the precipice of the hill, this is a dangerous spot, because if all these teams decide to collapse at one time, they are right in the center of it.
It is a tricky game that Denmark has to play. They have to fend off a couple different teams and not take too many knocks, and that's not good.
Denmark erster noch.
It's a banger onto Beamy.
Beamy ist genockt. Jetzt kommen die Franzosen auch ein bisschen näher dran.
They have a really good opportunity. There goes the emergency cover. It's just going to slide right down that steep hill. So Indonesia was just trying to tuck in, and Denmark needs these points so desperately. That Molly might have just gone too far, it looks like. So this battle stalled by the smokes. My real question is, what is France going to do?
Well, they're going to get an off angle onto Setsuna and do a ton of damage onto him, making his position even worse, but there's no explosive utility. Balzac has got
Also 3 Teams da ziemlich close beieinander. Oh, Indonesia raus.
But Nedex and Sky will knock down Keter and Doffy as France begin to push. They done this brilliantly yesterday, and they're doing it again today, Paper. And this is opening up an opportunity for Poland to wrap in as well.
This is such great execution here on this team fight. Nedex trying to now harass Canada to hold them back. You can see that I think Beamy still alive for Denmark. He was able to tuck in and survive, even steal a point off of France and Poland. They know that they need these kills, so they're going to try to wrap on the backside. And Nedex somewhat aware. Is he going to be ready for Marsalek to be so close? Marsalek so stellar for Poland yesterday. And surely he's going to hear the footsteps. Marsalek doesn't get knocked. Cappy underneath is going to get knocked. Nedex 13 HP, still looking for
Nedex
more.
knockt fast 2 Leute.
Saved his life there in that fight, but France are turning their attention now towards Poland. Nedex steps up once more. Marsalek tries to flee, but he can't run fast enough.
Da kommt der zweite Knock von Nedex.
Pufa, who is subbed in today, is close.
Ah, die haben schon ein Mod-Spray drauf. Das ist nicht mehr zu spaßen damit. Und Nedex hat den... Unten im Tal den Polen unter Beschuss.
Leo for Chinese Taipei, he's just staying quiet, living his best life.
I'm kind of curious about Leo's decision in this moment, though. Like, if a fight kicks off between Canada and France, I think I'm going right for Canada. I'm turning my sights to them because they are the danger in terms of the scoreboard, in terms of the leaderboard. That's the team that you want to put down as quickly as possible so they can't gain as much ground onto you. Then they have all 4 players up. They're the only team in that situation right now. Beamy just trying to survive, but I think Nedex is about to get the angle onto him. Can Beamy win the fight? Yes, he can. Beamy one down. Beamy looking for another. Does enough damage. Balzac has to reposition. The stun into his face. The first aid now being attempted. Sky knocked out. What in the world is that?
Halt dich jetzt, Conrad!
The stunned Superman landing gave Beamy the opportunity to find another knock. Now Balzac is on the hunt trying to get him flushed out, but Canada are on their way. Adam will get the knock. 5 kills for the Canadians, and they're not saying sorry about that one. And then Beamy will go down to the blue. It's a 4v3v1 here, and this could
Boah,
be
was
an
Beamy da
incredible
noch rausgeholt hat mit als One-Man-Army. Krank.
Instantly, Joshi on the ground. Some grenades being attempted here to try to break through Canada's front line. Adam just going to hold, do a little peeking around the edge. Marsalek trying to play anchor, but immediately Finna spots him out, puts a couple good shots into him. Leo springs into action and gets Finna looking for those points, and he's going to claim it. That's huge for Chinese Taipei.
And how momentum can swing back and forward. Now Poland with 3 up. They got Marsalek back on his feet and Pufa.
Noch 3 Teams. Taipei mit 1 Spieler und die anderen 2 Teams mit 3.
Picked up an arm out of nowhere as well.
Is that Chris's arm?
It must be.
Has to be.
This is incredible. There's honestly all 3 of these teams, if the dominoes go the right way, can still get the win. And the circle has now moved Canada off of the top of the mountain, and they have now got to come down, and they're going to wrap towards Leo. Can he pull the same trick twice?
Dude, these are my favorite finishes on Erangel, is in and around this mountain. Some of the best fights you're going to see in the game. Canada would love to get Chinese Taipei and Leo out of this so they could take a fair fight against Poland, and they know that if they could take Chinese Taipei out first, that gives them the better ability to close the gap against a team that's ahead of them in the leaderboard. So this is a great heady play. You would expect this from Canada. You know, Adam, a longtime IGL, such a smart individual when it comes to PUBG esports, but they can't find him. Leo's just tucked in.
Yeah, and look, Leo is getting lots of information from his teammates on the minimap. We can see exactly what the Polish players know based on the pings. So they're like, right, Canada, we're last seen up to the north, but we know they're starting to wrap around. So they're saying, well, there's only 3 places that we can really get pressed from. So all that information is being fed amongst these teams. It's phase 9, it's center point, it is no man's land in the middle of Everest. And honestly, this is so fun.
It is. It's going to come down to kind of a butterfly effect here into phase 9. Who's going to kind of find that first knock? Who's going to outposition who? Who's going to outread this? I think, for Poland, Matster, he's got a lot of heavy lifting he might need to do to keep himself alive, play his life, and do damage to Canada when they have to start making their way downhill. Leo's just trying to find a way to survive, trying to see if he can get some early damage onto Canada. I think he suspects that Canada wants to wrap in his direction to try to get ahead of the curve here. Smokes have to come out for Master, for Poland. Make sure that he is going to be safe. But they're grouping up now. Poland wants to maybe try to make a bit of a move early.
This is a 2-point kill as well. Because if you take down Leo, or Leo can get these kills, you're stopping one of your direct rivals to qualify from getting more points on the board. But Leo has played his hand, but his hand is a good one. He gets the knock on to Shinboy as he's going to fall, but Adam will get that kill. And now Poland have got to be fast. You can see
der Genockte ist auch gestorben gerade.
Marsalek does a ton of damage, but Joshi is going to find the headshot. It's a 2v2 paper, and it is coming right down to the wire.
This is absolutely incredible stuff. 2 teams who need these points so badly. Joshi, Adam pushing together as a duo, and it's a 1-for-1 there. Now you're down to Adam versus 1 underneath him. He's got the angle. Adam's got the win. Team Canada comes through with a massive chicken dinner.
I asked if they could get a win today. Well, yes, they, Canada, as they come in clutch. And that one really could have gone any of those host teams' ways. But it is so big for them.
Gespielt.
And honestly, in that 1v1, it is so hard for the player on the low ground. I love the mindset of Poland to try take control closer to the center of the circle. But when a 1v1, you gotta back the big dog up on top. And Canada, when they needed a win the most, they've got it. But paper, job's not done.
No, not at all. they are not going to be comfortable even after that win. They still need more points to get into that final stage. So that's a great start for Canada, a great way to begin the day, but it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. Same for Poland, not a bad game. You would have loved to have gotten the win there, but you've given yourself some hope here to really start to do better. Chinese Taipei, not sure about them.
Yeah, still had a good game, a couple of kills for him, and they did a lot of damage onto Germany. But the thing is, as we jump into the highlights, I want to know where things stand when we finally get a look at the leaderboard in a few minutes.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and we'll be back shortly at PNC 2025.
Da waren schon richtig starke Momente dabei, kann man nichts sagen.
Fueled by the same passion as esports athletes, Zowie continuously develops tailored products, empowering gamers to bring their best out. Today, we are launching the all-new XL2566X Plus, which uses the newly developed Fast TN panel and upgraded Diac2 technology. The new monitor series continue to evolve, refining details to ensure players can perform their best consistently in games.
Dominate with speed. Octopus 8K HE. Scanning every key at the speed of light. Customize every key and setting to build a perfect keyboard for your play. Superior keystroke feel. Experience speed like never before. Octopus 8K HE. Azra.
Daego. Match 9. So, drittes Match geht jetzt gleich weiter. In 40 Sekunden.
Smooth and original, straight from the underground. Listen to the real funk. Hold on. You better don't stop me. Watch out, the furious. Better be focused. Listen to the real funk. And it goes a little something like this. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. Listen to the real funk.
혹시 모델업팅 좀
Smooth and original, straight from the underground.
And welcome back everyone to sunny Seoul. 32 degrees Celsius as you can see outside, and you only think it's hot outside. It is getting hot on that leaderboard in here.
It's hot and humid in Seoul, and the players definitely living up to our expectations. It's the man of the match. It's Adam coming through with a big one, clutching out the win for Team Canada. You love to see it. They played that end game really, really nicely, fended off some potential knockout throws that were attempted by Leo and also by Poland.
And they managed to do what has been their kryptonite this event. They avoided the early game messes, the early game fights, and they were able to play the game on their terms. Now, yes, it did come down to a dice roll at the end, But as we look at the overall match leaderboard, let's see how much they were able to take advantage and capitalize off that game. 19 points on the board. And I'll tell you this, their position will look a lot better now than it did 30 minutes ago.
Absolutely, and you know, you love to see that some of the teams that need the points are fighting for it and accumulating them. You know, Denmark right behind them at 15, Poland with 11. So things are going to be, I think, very, very interesting around the middle of the pack. Chinese Taipei as well with 10. So everybody that is scrambling to get into that top 8 is going big here on our second Erangel.
And only picking up 2 points as well as Team UK, who were in the hot seat during that game, sitting in 8th spot. So they're going to find themselves in a very rough spot indeed as we jump to that total leaderboard. And yeah, there you have it. UK drop out to 9th place as Canada will take their spot inside the top 8. And they are just about behind Chinese Taipei on placement points alone.
Now look at this. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. 4 teams that coming into this survival stage, you would thought would have really good chances to be those teams that are going to qualify into our finals. But now you're looking at maybe 1 or 2 of them, maybe none of them are going to make it through because things have just not gone their way. They haven't been able to really put together those bigger games that they're gonna need. You know, you've been really close sometimes. You know, Turkey, yes, they did get a win, but it wasn't the biggest kill win on Miramar. So looking to try to find some footing here as we go over into what a lot of people like to call our wildcard maps, Tego and Rondo, which I love that we have these 2 maps in there. Tego in particular, I think is great. A lot of people don't like it, but I think it's quite fun. It may also be that, you know, it's on my home turf. It's a map in Korea, so maybe I'm a little biased.
You know what? It's taken a little bit of time to get to the point now where I think all the teams fully understand the flow, and I think it's the same with Rondo. It'll take a little bit more time for everyone to get to the flow, but I like Tego because it's, as you said, a change in scenery. It's a real tempo change off the back of Erangel, and honestly, I love how the tempo goes because you'd like to say that Miramar traditionally is the map that has the slower pace. So what we do is we start off nice and high by Erangel, you get a couple of peaks and troughs, and then you just go Rondo, Miramar, and it's just madness on the back 3.
That's what I like. I like the madness. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I think Tego's quite interesting because it offers up a bunch of different potential circle endings. Like if it's up on the northern end, there's some of those mountains that are around the southern end of the army base that are really cool, I think. And then in like the southern part, there's the swamps, there's some fields here and there. You know, nobody likes fields to play in it, but they're fun as hell to watch. So you get some really cool opportunities to really get some varied circles, some varied endings potentially. But yeah, Tego a little bit of a different beast than Erangel. So gonna see who can be our top point earners. You know, historically it's been USA, they're not here. So the door is wide open, I feel, for some of these teams to make a move.
Yeah, and this is a map too where there's a lot more potential for hot drops. This in Rondo, I know that we definitely have a hot drop on Rondo worth keeping an eye on later, but if I'm Team Canada, what I will say as we look at them on the screen, I don't know if the time of our extended break is good for them or bad for them, because they've just got a ton of momentum off that one, and then you have to go away from your computer. You know, you get to go to the bathroom and get ready. K-Mine gets a chance to talk to the team, and K-Mine said he has never dealt with anything as stressful in his life as coaching, because once the game starts, he can't do anything.
Right.
Like, it's insane.
It's hard, man. It's hard to be like watching from the sidelines, to not have that input. You know, K-Mine back on the day, one of the best players on the planet for quite a while there, back in like the early days, 2019, 2020, such a stellar player. Now going into that coaching role, you know, he's got to look and say, okay, here's what I think is going wrong. But once you get into the game, you got to rely on Adam. You got to rely on Finna with their tremendous experience to see if they can close it out like they just did on Erangel. As we get ready to shift gears, it's time for Tego.
So.
And it is game 3, almost halfway through the day already, my friend.
Auf geht's in den nächsten Map.
I don't know, those games look fast, dude.
Yeah, like it's insane that we're here already. It is time to jump into Tego, as you said. And I wonder if any teams who've started strong continue to build. One coach in particular who I think will be a lot happier with today than yesterday is our colleague, our good friend Avenger, who is in the back room. Funny enough, he's the opposite of K-Mine. He said he's relaxed. He's like, he's just there. He's just there to make sure that the team have everything they need to help them succeed. And he hopes and prays that nobody gets sick or hurts themselves.
Or the red zone.
Yeah. Well, as we said, they've had everything. They've had everything to go. And also a reminder at home, we do have some team cams.
Taego. Relativ flache Map. Es gibt nicht viele Anhöhen. Also Berge erst recht nicht. Also das wird auf jeden Fall ein Gemetzel werden, denke ich. Besonders in der Endzone.
Something kind of going on, but when you can sit there and watch them and listen, it does feel like the game kind of slows down a bit. You can really take it all in, like try to understand the thought process of what's going through their head, really get focused in on, you know, what are they looking at? What points of interest are they really thinking about? How are they thinking about taking fights? You know, who's going to be...
Ihr könnt ja gerade mal in den Abstimmungen gucken im Chat, welches Team die nächste Lobby gewinnt. Mir fällt gerade auf, ich habe sonstige falsch geschrieben. Passiert, aber falls euer Team nicht dabei ist, auf sonstige könnt ihr natürlich auch abstimmen. Ich hoffe ja, dass Germany diese Runde holen wird.
Like Tig was saying, he has a sixth sense as to what everybody in Falcons are doing, and they don't even need to talk that much. And he goes, now coming to this event, playing for Team Australia tomorrow, he said it's going to be so different. He's not used to having to talk as much and feed all this information, and that's a problem all these players are going to have at this event. Like if you're an IGL...
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, no, no. No, 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 not like this. Don't do Cappy like this. Don't do him like this. Oh, what a shot, trick.
Oh mein Gott.
Like this, Poland. Come on, man. Indonesia. I mean, fair play to them. They got the Panzer, they had an AK. You're well within your rights to do it, but oh, that's heartbreaking, dude.
Didn't know he had that up his sleeve.
Neither did I.
Yeah. But hey.
Yeah, oh, because he's Trick.
Yeah, exactly.
I got you. Nice.
Yeah. he's like, yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that vehicle. It's no good to anybody. But
Indonesier mit der Panzerfaust 2 Polen aus dem Game genommen. Das war schon richtig fancy. Damn, brother.
But give Trick credit, it's still a hard shot to hit.
Yeah, and then you gotta be like, come on, man, your flag is just like ours, but upside down. Like, what are we doing? Shouldn't we be like friends? You know what I mean? But it's a nature of this hard shifted circle off of kind of a difficult playing path for both of these teams to drop to. It's pretty far away where they want to naturally go, and just a little bit quicker of a drop for Indonesia allows them to pick up their stuff and just ruin the map basically for Poland.
Dänemark geht auf den Flug.
With just 2 players this early, it's so hard to get into the late game.
Yeah, and Denmark making the really early game decision. What, 3.5 minutes gone? And with the flight path we had, they had about 2 minutes to loot at most, and they're already up in the sky. They're going north. They're not taking any risks whatsoever, and it's a real long-term view of this map.
Wäre schon doof gewesen, den ersten Deutschen rauszuhaben aus dem Match.
But they're saying, hey, don't like the circle, don't like the land rotates. Let's get out of here really quickly. Ideally, I would like to see them drop really late. Go up to Wall Song, maybe up closer to, you know, Army Base, and take advantage of the amount of space that they'll have because of that flight path.
Das ist manchmal sehr interessant zu sehen, die Cam von den Leuten, die gerade zocken. Manche haben schon ein paar eigene Ticks so, die Map zu gucken oder das ist schon ein bisschen witzig tatsächlich.
Talking about the Tiggleton and the Falcons and stuff, at PGS in Shanghai, I actually had a chance to sit in for a couple maps with Gunnar while the team was playing, and I got to listen to their comms. And a lot of what they talk about isn't necessarily like the stuff you would think. It isn't macro game stuff. It isn't always micro game stuff. It's what team is around us, because they need to know, like, what are they doing. But I think Denmark got beat to the punch here by Germany. Just thinking of something I'm seeing on the map that could be a problem here in a minute. But they talk about, like, okay, we saw these cars. We know Team X has, you know, car ABC. What do we want to do in that situation? How do we approach that team? It's more of like a, you know, knowing your opponents and making your plays off the back of that is a lot of what they talk about. So I found that to be super fascinating.
Yeah, and there's Gustav's stats, 257 average damage over his PNC career, but he doubled it in that game with 505. But it's a great point. Like, it is something I could talk about at length, and all the IGLs as well.
Den landen in der Red Zone. Hoffentlich werden die jetzt nicht einfach vom Spiel genommen. Boah, das war doch eine saubere Nate. Ich dachte erst, er wirft die viel zu hoch, aber die ist gelandet. On point.
Oh, of course it's the Philippines we're running into. Nailcop taking some damage there as well. Gonna go for the heal in the smoke. Looks like he should be good for it, as Shilla will be confirmed. That was kind of a no-doubter. At that point, Nailcop needs to hit some shots. He needs to get Calv.
Und wieder so eine Highlight, aber diesmal von den Türken. Leider nicht getroffen.
Out on the outside, can't get the shots to land.
And this is all happening inside the circle too, so there's no real panic from a team's perspective to get it overdone with, unless you're Philippines, who just want to get these points on the board. Another knock on the Nailkop. Smoke grenades will be pushed, but look at Algin Bots. He's on the wraparound right now. They know that Turkey have got one player knocked. In a worst case scenario, you've got two guns looking your way. But in a normal situation now, you'd expect that at some point, Turkey will only have one active gun as they go for the res, but I think Turkey know what's happening. They need to keep these two players in the fight because the Philippines are going to try to choke them out.
It shows good awareness of who their opponent is and the way that they've been taking these fights. It's been spread out, you know, fanned out attempts to create multiple flanks by the Philippines. So you know you're going to get 1v1s most likely, and there's nothing you can do about this. Try to punish it, can't do it in time. 10 trip, takes a whole bunch of damage, but actually he's got a little bit of backup. The Philippines is grouped up. They're throwing a curveball here at Turkey on the stairs. What in the world are you doing? You've got 5 HP.
Oh, there's no, he didn't expect the repeat.
Mit 5 HP den wieder genockt. Das kann er nicht angehen.
All the time I see him play, he's the tip of the spear of the attack of his side. Well, now he's all that is left. And he's got to go up against all of these angry Philippine players. And even more bigger than that, Sweden. Knowing what's going on, reading the fact that they're completely distracted, they can see points for them. And Sweden know a good game here, can see them in. 10 trip will get the kill on DeMarco. But what, is Sweden going to push, or do they pull?
Das erste Team eliminiert.
Because there's not another knock, maybe it's... Oh, wait, there is another knock. Hold the phone. It's actually Spain from downtown. Putting players on the ground. And
ja, das ist das, was ich mir vorhin gedacht habe. Die Map ist sehr flach. Man kann ziemlich weit Kills holen, Knocks holen. Und das passiert hier gerade auch, ne? Also man sieht, das ist jetzt vielleicht einer der höchsten Berge so. Mehr ist da nicht.
Philippines will just crawl their way inside, get the res off. They've only got 3 players up, and Spain are now helping the Philippines by turning their attention to Sweden. And that's one of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And this is what happens oh so often. You're in a little bowl, or you're in the middle of some teams. Sometimes the two teams on either side of you can buy you the time that you need to get yourselves ready. M249 here, paper, but India managed to avoid it.
That was close. Took a bunch of damage. Couldn't find the tire, I don't think, on the vehicle either for Brad. It's Chris who got ran over.
Chris, was passiert? Hat er das Auto nicht gehört? Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Oder dachte er ist sein Mate oder was? Und hat nicht darauf geachtet. Scheiße.
The US as Spain will rock on up, and Shen, he manages to find his one, gets a bit of damage, doesn't get the second though, as Arbafak will knock him down.
Arbafak wants that point, and that's Shen gone. There was some support behind Shen, but he needed to survive, he needed to stay alive. Spain, I think, attempting a res here. Yeah, Arbafak gonna be going for it. Shadow Echo should be resed here in just a moment. Malaysia wasn't in a position to punish that. Where are we going to go? We know it's going to be on the northern island somewhere, but it hard shifts down to the southeast. So Goduk and Palace still going to be involved. Norway dead center early, quite fanned out. But look at this fight with Malaysia. They want to finish the job. They want to finish what they started. Spain recovering. Are they just going to peel back? Nope, they're fighting more. Shadow Echo with that Dragunov.
Yeah, Pete's going to wrap around to the south, try isolate these two players, as Explicit has gone a little... He's been knocked, he was a little further north, so Malaysia know that they have Spain with their backs to the blue, and they can hold them out. Now damage is going to get dealt onto Shadow Echo as Pete uses that angle that he's created for himself to do some damage. And while all that was going on, the Philippines are back to a 4.
You gotta be kidding me. The fact that they're able to get into Palace and get the res is crazy. Jervis outdoes his opponent. Arbafak again, good for at least one more. And Jervis doesn't have any cover. Malaysia has misread the positioning of Spain again, and they're gonna lose another player for it. Yeah, they might win the war here, but they're not going to come out unscathed. They're gonna lose at least 2. And Pete, and he's got it. Good job there, but that's kind of a wonky fight.
Und Malaysia hat Spanien auch eliminiert. Raus mit denen. Oh, Brückenjump von den Polen. Nee. Quatsch, von Indonesien, sorry.
It didn't go the way they would have planned, as Michael was able to find 2, but this time, well, it shows that sometimes the definition of insanity is not the right way. They can do the same thing over and over again, and you can get different results, but maybe I spoke too soon, as Teddy will cross. But it looks like UK weren't ready for Teddy to be over the bridge.
Oh, und Germany hat auch geretzt. Chris ist wieder in-game. Das ist super gut. Jetzt braucht er nur ein bisschen Loot, natürlich, aber... Er ist wieder mit dabei und vielleicht wird ihn der Mistake mit dem Auto zur Rache ziehen, also, weil das war ja scheiße tatsächlich.
That it gets them a little bit closer to the center of the circle as well. Maybe gives them a bit of a pivot position where they can also do some damage to the people to their south. I like this from France. Good stuff again.
Honestly, I can't give Sky enough credit for how good his IGLing and decision-making has been. Now, I know it's a team effort and everybody's going to have their input, but your IGL has to be the one that makes the final say. And it just looks like they're making all the right moves at the right time. Indonesia, I think they've done a blinder there getting everybody across the bridge as well. A bridge camp in place, you've gotten 4 separate vehicles over there, but while we've spoken about that, it looks like Denmark and India have gone head-to-head, and Doffy will get a good nade onto Karku.
I think as Denmark, that might be a go signal. That might be the time to put the pedal to the metal here, try to find some more points. Going up against India, you've got some good angles, but look at this off angle. Ketter trying to bully his way through. He's going to be traded quickly by Dofi. Now shot high. Oh man, that grenade landed right at his backside. Almost got the knock. Beamy in the window. If he can land it just a little bit closer, but no, it's on the other side. Car's going to blow up. Shot high. He can do. Oh, Beamy, too good.
Da wird Indien aber wieder hops genommen. Gleich raus aus dem Game. Und Germany mischt sich jetzt gleich mit in diesem Team ein. Jawohl, einen ersten Knock. Den zweiten Knock und gefirstet direkt.
And now there's just one player standing for India. But Rupesh with a brilliant nade gets it on the Doffy, and this is a 1v1 with Germany closing in.
This has now turned from a decent looking fight for Denmark to absolute disaster. A grenade at his feet, he's gone. It's Chris on the
Chris, geniale Granate, reingeworfen, tot. Jetzt haben sie einen gerettet, jetzt haben sie die Chance noch 2 Punkte zu holen. Und das werden sie auch machen. Weggeschallert haben sie die. In die. Raus.
Hops inside the vehicle, but Vard's got himself an angle on the other side. But for France, this is dangerous. This is not where you want to be. Fex with a nade at the ready. If this bounces right off the wall, it'll be great, and it is great. Max will go down, and it's just Balzac and SK. Sky left standing.
Tough position to be in here for France now. The UK, another team needing these points, so they have to press this fight. A great
Germany mit 5 Punkten. Das ist super gut jetzt schon. Die haben richtig abgesahnt. Gute Third Party gemacht. Kann man nichts sagen. Aber wir stehen gerade mit den meisten Punkten in der Lobby.
Well, there's a nade wall. Look, there's an airstrike being called in here by Indonesia, and this could be bad. Leo is going to get dealt with, and this is just what Canada, UK, and Poland need. There's another knock. Trick will get that one, and it leaves Savior as the last player standing. Can he live up to his name? Indonesia will go for the reses, but if I'm UK, Canada, and Poland, who are now level on points essentially with Chinese Taipei, this is a great opportunity to leapfrog above them. And Sweden are not too far above either.
Yeah, absolutely.
Schon wieder einfach mit der Panzerfaust dazu stehen.
Chinese Taipei might just be out of range of those frags, but Indonesia just had the distance dialed in. Sweden driving around, they're near the Philippines. This is like one of the last teams I'd want to be fighting right now with how confident they are and how aggressive they're willing to be. CJ up on the fence, and he hits ahead immediately. Hot and spicy, in trouble. Able to avoid the knock for now. Seems like he's got that hillside for cover. Sweden continuing to wrap, but Tentrip.
Box gets a little bit more damage, but Tentrip does get hot and spicy. He choked him out, he caught him up, and for Sweden, that's not good news. Here's so he gets caught out by Brax.
Sehr nice.
And Norway, look at them, they're all turning their attention. Germany are going
Schon hat einen Norweger genockt. Der ist am besten noch thirden.
Troublesome. Those M249s, so fearsome. Love the way those guys use them. Big fan.
Ja, der ist noch genockt tatsächlich. Aber wenn sie die Norweger rausnehmen.
And immediately, Hyman's like, no man, I don't want any of this. I'm backing off. And we do see there was a res that actually got through here for UK, so they drove out into the blue to find a res station to make sure they could get their IGL.
Ja, die haben den gefördert. Der nächste Punkt
not just winning a fight, but winning the entire game.
Für Germany. Oh, jetzt kommt Malaysia von der Seite. Hoffentlich schauen. Ja, die gucken schon in die Richtung. Die wissen ganz genau, da kommt noch was aus der Zone raus.
That's crazy good stuff. Norway maybe actually kind of opening the door here from Malaysia. Malaysia tanking a lot of blue though. Germany now letting loose with the smokes. They want to try to get the res, but Shen should have a knock, but he can't find the shots. He's got it's Chris in the head. Mika now down to 1 HP. Shen.
Die werden ganz schön in die Mangel gerade genommen, die German.
Into the blue before it takes him into the knock status, and he's going to get the first aid off.
German or Norwegian. Malaysia showing they're not going to discriminate as they're able to
Also
get the
die
kills.
Germans raus, aber 6 Punkte, das ist super gut, wenn die so weitermachen. Sieht es gar nicht verkehrt aus für das Finale.
Now Shen's got a decision to make here, Paper. Does he try to get Jervis back in play, or does he help out his teammate and fight with Norway?
Well, he needs Empty to give us stellar play. Tickle a little bit of damage. Intense getting into.
Oh, he's got him.
Oh, he had it for a moment, but he pulled the trigger right as Hyman was crouching. He's got the crossfire though. Shen will find the knock, so him and Empty working their magic. Intense. Oh boy, he's in trouble. Empty knows it. He knows he lit him up. Lets loose with the grenade. But Intense, wise to this game, doesn't matter. Shen from afar with the M4.
And if you're quick, you can get to that recall station that's right beside them and get all 4 players back up. 10 kills for Malaysia now as they've increased their points tally for the whole, the whole tournament so far significantly on this game alone. And if they get back to a 4 with the momentum that they've found and the circle that they've got so much space to play with.
That's a great point. They've got some crates that had dropped just to their east as well. Maybe could get a little bit of extra util if those already haven't been scavenged. I'm not sure when they drop, so hard to say for sure, but center up with the circle, indeed. Indonesia just going to be turtling Sweden just to their southeast. Savior still alive for Chinese Taipei. Japan still kicking in this one with 4 up on the north side. Philippines on the southeast. UK over on the east. Looks like our observers considering that Philippines has maybe made the option to go for the fight against Sweden. They do have a hillside to work with just on that southeast edge.
I think you just park up on that hillside for a while. See what's happening elsewhere. Scout out to where Sweden are, and if you think the pressure is too hot, just use the terrain to your advantage. Way up to the north, you've still got Japan in play. They're getting not too far away, but Philippines, we're getting on board with our POV. And Sweden, tagging a little bit of damage on, getting a little bit of damage tag onto them by the Philippines. It might just open the door. Look towards the north as well. Canada and UK, two teams literally beside each other in the leaderboard, are right beside each other on the map as well.
That could be a pivotal fight in the outcome of this survival stage, no doubt about it. Canada on the outside of the circle, on the other side of a road, back in dark. Well, his vehicle was going to explode. Anyway, Calbs gets the knock with the barrel. Doesn't actually fall. Doesn't matter. 10Trip is here to claim it. I thought maybe the vehicle might just take him out, but 10Trip was there anyway. And this is a nice setup here for the Philippines. They've got a hillside. They're going to get the res. They're going to have a ton of info on what's going on in this circle. Shen gone.
Yeah, and vital points there for Marsalek as well in Poland as Sweden looking to secure their borders, but Marsalek's got Mome in his sight, spots out the toe. 16 damage is all that will deal to Mome, but for Marsalek, it's enough to give him his teammate. Well, actually, look at Pufa. Pufa's off looting way up to the north by himself. He's got his eyes onto what Japan are doing elsewhere as Canada begin their move inside the next zone.
All right, setting up the smoke wall across the road. Gonna be able to leapfrog their way up into another ditch, it looks like. A little bit of damage exchange between them and the UK, but nothing too serious so far for Canada. Gonna use this smoke wall to just get a little bit further forward. I think they've actually found some level of safety. It just depends on what the UK wants to do. They've been pretty aggressive. Beck's still finding damage on the players trying to cross. That's not too bad, but I think Canada's okay.
If the UK work out this is Canada though, they want that fight. Because it's, as I like to say, kills against teams beside you in the leaderboard are almost worth double because you're not allowing the other team the opportunity. Michael getting that knock now, knows this is a 3v3 fight, and look what Philippines have crept on up, and Cal will delete Vard as he is going to be done and dusted. And it just goes to show, all your best plans can get ruined when you get punched in the mouth, and that's exactly what Calbs just did to Team UK.
Yo, that is just so aggravating if you're the UK. You know, the Philippines just feeling it, and they are so strong today. They are not afraid to take any fight. They know there's, you know, kind of a tunnel vision effect maybe going on. That will be Malaysia going down the 9 just outside of the placement.
Hello?
Big kills for them though in this game. Maybe still a chance. It's gonna have to be some monster Miramars and a rondo for them. Japan driving right on through, and they lose 2. Run AX, Fevin down. Indonesia thinking about some grenades. I don't know if they're gonna need them. Mook gone. Japan just can't find any safety.
Yeah, bottom of the leaderboard and things not looking any better, but Poland managed to find a vital point in that as well, as Pufa will get dealt with. And now they should be able to get the res off. I'm looking as well. Chinese Taipei are still alive inside the blue. Every team that falls from this point on, if they can stay alive, is an extra point in their coffers. They need this because they are right on the cusp now, and UK are just 1 point behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a battle of survival now. The UK, though, pinned between Calbs from the Philippines and the full 4-man force of Canada. Can't really get any comfort. They haven't been able to find those extra knocks to break some space open. If they could get Calbs down, there's an opportunity to maybe make a southern rotation. I don't know, but this is looking very difficult for the UK. I have a hard time seeing them without some tremendous shooting getting through this. The good news for them is Calbs is all on his own, and I think they've kind of sussed that out, and they're going to put some pressure in his direction. He's recognizing it. Actually, Canada kind of helping the UK out a bit here. Calbs in trouble. He should be dead.
Yeah, he somehow managed to dodge and dive and dodge his way around, but Joshi will land at the telling blow. Philippines should not get that res, but stranger things have happened. And as you said, that has opened up somewhere. Well, I don't know if that's opened up somewhere for the UK to rotate into, or told them if we run that gauntlet, Canada have got open eyes on it. So they're now smartly rotating back towards Canada to play this little dip, this ridge line, and see if maybe they can get an extra couple of placement points and maybe get a knock on to Canada that opens up them an avenue into the circle.
Yeah, no, this is good awareness, though, from the UK. Bully Calbs back a little bit, now at least try to survive a little bit further into this game, but Xavier still tucked into the shack. Not going anywhere anytime soon. Canada, 4 players stuck on an edge of the circle. Just all eyes on the UK. They want to make sure that the UK can't get any further in this game. You don't care too much about what Japan's doing right now. A little bit of cover there as well. The emergencies coming through. Joshi gets the knock on Michael though. 10 Trip does trade that out. Canada, 3 players stuck behind those little triangles.
Oh wow, Philippines really do have got eyes on
6 teams in game.
They are just the Overwatch, the Overlord.
17 alive.
If they can spot out Adam, like
Kanada schwer unter Beschuss.
into the circle for both of these sides. Look at the 3 players stacked up now. Adam is going to get knocked by 10 Trip, and this could not be going better for Team UK. They're trying to steal the kills away. 10 Trip with another one.
Whoa.
Gets the last one, and Canada fall. And with that, Chinese Taipei's extra point puts them above Canada, and UK just need one more point to leapfrog them as well.
Mit
But will they get it here,
10
Paper?
Kills.
I don't know. This is so
Boah,
Teddy.
saustarke
He's
Runde für die.
He's been knocked quite a few times, so Fex quick to go for that res. Wants to get that extra player in there to try to get further into this. I mean, 10 Trip, dude, he has been just a monster in this survival stage. He was the top damage dealer going into today, and he's gonna get another.
Was?
584 damage right now. He is just frying. 6 kills total. Looking for
Also, 10 Trip ist gerade richtig im Flow. Knockt die Leute aus dem Auto. Und holt die Kills. Der nächste wird unter Beschuss genommen. Und alle schön mit der Mini oder mit der MK12 am Absnipern.
UK, they've got themselves a car. Once Fex is on his... Oh no, Savior! Stop that! Give them a chance, come on!
He's not interested in that. He wants to try to finish this. Algin bots as well. Storming across the hillside, shut down by some damage, but not before he gets a knock. Setsuna letting go with some frags to see if he can get a knock, but Philippines, few players very weak, but not down. And Indonesia has found this hillside, has claimed some real estate. Japan doesn't seem keen on doing anything besides holding their own hillside.
Yeah, and Feven is moving this way. Now, this is a very tough push for Japan, as Indonesia will get all their assets back into one spot to repel this push. Philippines back up to a 4 as well. They've got top spot in their sights. They've got 4 players up, and they are 1 point behind Norway. And yes, all that matters is top 8, but bragging rights matter too, and confidence does. And I'm going to say this.
Philippinen jetzt mit 12 Kills. Saustarke Runde von denen. Die sind richtig gut dabei.
The crazy points, the points that people don't talk about enough when teams get over the line.
Yeah, those salvage points, so important. I'm not sure how many smokes Xavier has left.
Okay, ja, einer am Leben. Muss sich hier kriechend retten. Wir zielen alle ein bisschen zu hoch. Die Richtung war ganz gut, aber leider zu hoch.
There's a world where Xavier gets into this next circle and is able to secure even more placement points.
And even if he can get the kill onto Michael, like there's so many teams hoping to find the kill onto the 2 players inside the blue. And in reality, Michael's got to move first. Xavier is closer to the edge of the circle. Japan, they now need to move in as well. Indonesia, they've got themselves the crates that they're going to play, but it's the Philippines with another
raus.
kill
UK eliminated.
the leaderboard paper, and they are in a wonderful position. And I think Xavier might just be about to follow UK out the back door.
I mean, the confidence is just paying dividends for the Philippines. You know, taking fights early, taking fights often. Calbs as well, able to be rezzed, was a pivotal moment here for them. Now they're going to group up into a 2-2 split. Roni trying to press his way forward. Xavier may be at the end of his run. Calbs, that grenade.
Oh, die Granate sieht gut aus. Raus. Was eine Monstergranate. Letzten 3 Teams. Philippinen noch mit full 4 Leuten dabei. Indonesia 3 und Japan 2. Jetzt geht's richtig rund. Indonesia einer Knock.
They've got pride to play for. Molly and headshots combining to find even more damage. Trick gets inside, and look at the flank from Calbs, just buying his team precious seconds as Philippines now, they're trying to catch these teams in a sandwich.
Oh, Fevin trying to do what he can to keep the Philippines at arm's length, but they're not having any of it. They know he's weak. Starting to push around the corner. How in the world did he do that?
Oh, Fevin mit 20 HP.
Pushes. It will be Japan going down there. Simoy gonna swing in from behind to claim his prize.
Und Japan ist eliminated. Philippinen hat immer noch einen Knock. Es steht 3 gegen 3.
And they are well into the final stage.
Yeah, Trick with just the AUG to work with as damage is dealt on to Simoy by Algin bots, and 10 Trip dealt with. It is a 2 versus 3 of active standing players as the fog of war begins to descend on the circle. Setsuna with a vital flank for his side. He finds that knock, an instant flush. It's another point for Indonesia. 16 kills for Philippines, but will it be all they're going to get? CJ, he's on the hunt, he's on the prowl, but Indonesia get it done, and it's winner, winner, chicken dinner, and a big win at that.
Starke Runde. Philippinen haben 15 Kills, but Indonesia hat die gerade nochmal einfach weggesnackt.
Southeast Asia is made of in that final stage. They have really come to play. You'll love to see it. What else can you say? I mean, they're just, the Philippines in particular, dude, they're just on one.
All I'm going to say is if you're in the bottom half of the table and you're not going to get the win, that game is the perfect scenario. Philippines up in the top 4, double-digit kills. Indonesia, double-digit kills. The teams that you want to get points are the ones that are getting those points.
That's very true. That is very true. As we'll look at some of the highlights from that past game, but God, man. Indonesia.
Das war richtig stark. Ohne Waffen noch, die Polen. Bumm! Raus mit denen!
Not able to do anything about that. They do kind of scooch by in that game, get some extra points. CJ, this fight started here with Turkey. You know, we were wondering, was Sweden going to get involved? Spain was shooting into this, and the Philippines still able to squeeze their way out, get that res through over in the palace, and accelerate to another huge game.
It's funny, right? Those moments feel like so long ago, yet the day has flown by. It's just the joy of this game and the way things play out. This was Denmark's last stand, and you know, Beamy did an incredible job, but that nade, you know, he knows it's done. You see it at your feet, and it was a great job by Germany, who I feel like Germany are just doing enough. Right? They're picking up points. They're not safe yet, you know, on the 60-point mark, but they're getting. If they just keep this average up today, they'll be fine.
Oh yeah, they just play their style, you know, just play edge, take the fights if they look good, and see what comes out of it, and it's working wonders. The fact that Malaysia gets all their players up, gets some kills, a little bit of frustration there, but you know what? It do be like that. Philippines, well, you're watching the Trip show. I mean, the guy was farming damage yesterday, and he's just right back to it today. If you picked him up on your fantasy team, you're a genius. Congratulations, you are rewarded with a lot of points.
His name's his rating, right? A 10. He's a 10. I'm not even lying. He's playing that well. CJ as well has been really good. Like, I think it's another player we got to give some credit to, but it is, yes, it's massive congratulations to Indonesia for getting that chicken dinner, but they're through. They've got themselves into that spot. For me now, it is all about 6th spot down through to like 11th or 12th, because all those teams are in the hunt for those spots, and with that being the case, some teams that you and I are friends on are going to be going home at the end of today.
No, that's basically a given at this point with the way the leaderboard is shaking out. So that's, yeah, where our focus is going to be mostly. We kind of have some of these top teams who we know they're pretty much good to go. I think the point threshold is going to be interesting to see where it ends up. I think Scoom might not have been too far off there. It looks like it's starting to creep up into that 60-point territory, maybe a little bit above that, but everybody's scraping for it. I mean, Savior there just doing his damnedest. UK as well. They know how important every single one of those points was. They clawed their way through as best as they could. Canada, though, getting just absolutely ripped out of that lobby by the Philippines. That's a heartbreaker.
and because of that being the case now, I think they're just in 8th spot with the UK right behind them, and it's all in around the 56, 57 point mark. But I still feel like all 3 of those teams have shown the ability to get it over the line. There's a couple of teams as well. As we look at the top 4 from that game, like obviously Indonesia are going to be right on top. Well, Philippines actually with the 16 kills managed to do great, but Indonesia with 11 of their own. Malaysia
3000 Damage als Team.
With those 2 teams getting 16 and 11, and Malaysia who
im Turnier, das ist schon very strong, man.
getting 10, it really does help the teams that are hunting the top 8.
It does, yeah, exactly. There's still a lot of teams who are very much in this. With 3 maps to go, if you can average, 40, 50, even 50, that's possible. It's doable if you can win 2 games. There is a world where you can shoot up the leaderboard and get yourself into that final stage, but that's difficult. Look at all this util used by the Philippines. 19 frags, 21 smokes. I mean, those guys were just feasting there. Just, grabbing a bunch of util, putting it to great use, but it's actually Trick going to be our man of the match for our chicken dinner winning team.
Yeah, 7 kills, almost 1,000 damage. You look at point contribution, and in an ideal world, you'll want players in and around the 20 to 30% mark. He was responsible for almost half his team's points with that kill tally, and it all started with that Panzer at the very start.
That's true. And then he was like Johnny on the spot there for Indonesia, just pushing forward, keeping the Philippines at bay, then going back to deal with Japan. Like, he was so proactive in his movement. Really impressive to see. Now, the Philippines will end up with 1 more point, but beyond that, I mean, 43 points total for them. The next closest, Malaysia with 10, and that's all through kills.
Not even getting inside the top 8. That was brilliant for them, but then we'll look at the overall leaderboard to see how things shape up. So yes, Indonesia, Philippines, and Norway all safe. And you know what? The positions between 4th, and I'd even argue down as far as 10th, could change drastically over the next 3 maps. Like, I thought France were essentially safe, but when you look at it, there's only 7 points between them and the cutoff spot. It is all up for
So,
grabs.
Germany hier mit 62 Punkten. Ich meine, man braucht 72, um ins Finale einzuziehen. Also sind gut dabei. Es sind ja auch noch 3 Spiele, meine ich.
That's why right now Canada, even though they have the same amount of points, is technically ahead. So we'll have to keep our eyes. This one looking like it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to be neck and neck. I mean, we might get down to that last game and have no freaking idea who's going to be going home and who's going to be staying in this event.
Would you have it any other way?
No.
Exactly. We want that. We want to go into and that's what I love about survival stages, because you go into that last game and there's still so much up for grabs. Like, yes, we know who the teams at the top are going to be, but in essence, other than bragging rights, all you want today and yesterday is your ticket to the grand finals. And we are getting ready to go to Rondo, and it is the map where the strangest things happen inside of the sphere of PUBG. And remember, team top of the leaderboard, Philippines, they got 0 points here. Yes, it goes to show how difficult a map this could be to traverse.
No, it's true.
Okay.
It really is an unforgiving map in some ways. There's quite a bit of flat open space in a lot of the areas, especially where the circles like to gravitate to. So you have to be very proactive sometimes. You have to know when you just need to be taking fights on the edges. You'll see this all the time where teams, even like phase 2, phase 3, have no choice but to crash a compound because it's literally their best option. Because just driving through the center of a circle will result in your death. But we are ready to Rondo. It's time for our 4th match, 10th match of the survival stage. Who is going to give us a good showing? Who is going to be making their way to that final stage? We don't know yet. We still have 3 more maps to go.
Oh, I'm so excited as we take a look at Test Track. And there was a stage when everything ended up in this section of the map. But remember, with the new map brings loads of new little wrinkles. You spoke about the large open spots of terrain. You've obviously got the stone towers, the mountains that teams love to get up on top of to scout and rain hellfire down on top of the rest of the lobby. But let's not forget, you've also got the EMP zones, which are not in any other map. You've also got the E-bus, which is, the Pika bus, which is not in any other map either. So there's a lot of things on Rondo that you just don't need to deal with or don't have to deal with in other locations.
That's true. And we saw the EMP zone be very impactful yesterday.
The BRTM.
That was wild. The timing on that could not have been worse. Like, it is just madness. Philippines, you know, a team that I had my eyes on because during the scrims and stuff, they're able to control a lot of the central drop spots, a lot of the favorable ones. Are they going to be able to do that going into that final stage? Are they going to be, this is now a question, are they going to be hot dropping? Are they going to be like, you know, the teams that you may think, like USA potentially, like may want to go towards Pachinki, Picado, test track, stuff like that? But now you got the Philippines to deal with, and from all reports,
So,
they're kicking ass.
wer holt sich die Runde? Match 10. Können eine kurze Abstimmung eingeben von 5 Teams, die ich da eingegeben habe, aber ja.
Inside of Rondo, and it's really the rich against the poor. It is Spain against Indonesia. And you know what? Spain, you might not be making it through, but let's give us something to be positive about. You know, get yourself some memories, get yourself some clips, because at the end of the day, you might not ever get to play on a LAN again. So enjoy every
Landen
moment.
und Autos schnappen, das ist
you know, I got a couple of kills against Indonesia.
das
Absolutely destroyed them in a
Hauptmerkmal.
hot drop on Rondo.
That would be nice. That definitely is something that everybody wants to have. Tell the grandkids someday, you know, hey, I took down Simoy in a 1v1 on Rondo. As he's flanking out now, looking for some positioning. Indonesia taking this fight pretty similar to how I would say the Philippines like to take theirs. So seems to be kind of a modus operandi for some of these Southeast Asian teams.
Yeah, I love how Indonesia are the aggressors here. Like when I look at a hot drop, what I always like to look at is the positions of the teams. Indonesia have tried to choke out Spain, so they've surrounded them on all sides, whereas Spain have all grouped on one spot. There's pros and cons. If Indonesia get the first knock, they can really put the pressure on the Spain. However, with them playing the way they are, if Spain get the first knock, that player's done. You're so isolated from the rest of your team that you're out. So Simoy right now is the one to keep an eye on, as he has gone all the way around the north side of Japan.
Bin ich mal gespannt, wer den ersten Knock macht.
Special Agent Teddy trying to sneak his way through. And he, so far, I believe, is undetected. He's been really careful about not making noise. Simoy just waiting to get some confirmation, potentially, on where the positions of the players.
Natürlich auch ganz wichtig, keine Schuhe tragen, keine Noises machen. Also selbst mal natürlich immer noch ein paar Noises, aber nicht so viel wie mit Schuhen. Oder wurde einfach mal der Franzose Nedex aus dem Auto genockt. Stark.
Have got to deal with Algenbots quick now. He's done the smart thing. He's retreated down the hill on the side that there's some pressure on it. I think Turkey might get an angle in that fight as well, but we'll jump back to Ho Ran as we see Teddy almost finding that knock onto Demolizer, and maybe with a bit more aggression, a bit more speed and purpose, he'll be able to find that one. And it looks like France, they've given up on Nedex. I think that's the right thing to do, just because of the terrain and because of how much stay here longer could impact your late game. They've done the right thing. They've fallen back, they've given up the kill, and Tentrip confirms it, but Algenbots with a great spray got the knock.
Balzac maybe had a brief window there where he could have done some damage, but Kalb's inside of his vehicle, not going to take any. Circling around, and so far it seems like this one's going to eventually just come to an agreement between France and the Philippines that, okay, you guys get that one, we get the north, you get the south. Let's draw that line of demarcation for now, although that knock came
Sehr spannend. Ein Spanier ist genockt von Indonesia. Und es ist Tailrick ein bisschen unter Beschuss. Ist jetzt auch genockt. Das ist jetzt 3 gegen 3. Und der zweite Spanier ist genockt. Und 3 gegen 2.
The more this is impacting these teams' ability to get more points in the late game, because all the action is happening elsewhere in the circle. Teddy gets another good knock on the Arbafak, and Nate is thrown up.
Monster Spray. Und Spanien ist raus. Indonesien hat sie einfach hops genommen. Die sind so stark unterwegs, Indonesien.
last player of Spain was before he tried to take another fight. Now, he couldn't find him, so he had to fight it anyway, but he was being really patient, and he's able to relay that information over to his teammates, too, being like, I know where these guys are at, keep collapsing, I'll stay
Kann natürlich
safe.
auch gut sein, dass sie wissen, die kommen ins Finale, dass sie einfach auf der sicheren Seite sind. Die spielen jetzt natürlich ein bisschen aggressiver, die wollen die Leute rausnehmen, die anderen Teams. Und mit so einer Gewissenheit einfach da das Spiel zu spielen, da kannst du spielen, wie du willst einfach, ne? Da fühlst du dich auch einfach leichter, weil du weißt, du hast es schon ins Finale geschafft. Da gehst du einfach rein da in die Olga.
I agree. It has to be huge games. Multiple huge games for Malaysia. So we'll see if they can get it started. Goni, SKS in hand. They're doing a little bit of a bridge camp. I think seeing that kill feed, maybe just reading that Indonesia might wrap this way after winning that battle against Spain. So we have a chance here to get ourselves some much needed points, get a little confidence, get a little pride. Chinese Taipei just gonna split up
Jetzt
2-2.
gleiten wir so ein bisschen Berg
Those
hoch.
mountains just looking to get a little info and looking to survive in this one. That's their MO.
And I looked at this, and I was looking at that bridge camp from Japan, and I was saying to myself, with the drops that Japan and some other teams have, I don't see Indonesia going to try to cross that bridge.
So, lieber Chat, was meint ihr? Ihr habt noch 5 Minuten Zeit, mal eine kleine Abstimmung mitzumachen. Was meint ihr von den 5 Teams, die ich angegeben habe, wird die Lobby holen? Match 10.
And it takes a lot of the risk out of the decision as well.
Absolutely, I agree. This is a wonderful option that's available for some of these teams. I wonder if Japan is even
Indonesien macht sich jetzt zum Fliegen auf. Hoffentlich werden sie nicht beim Absprung von anderen Teams geholt. Und ich hoffe nicht, dass sie auf den Berg fliegen, denn auf dem Berg ist zwar für den ersten Moment immer geil, aber es kann auch böse nach hinten losgehen, denn man ist dann einfach unter Beschuss von allen Seiten.
The fact that he read that swing to perfection and got Shadow Echo down, then he takes the high ground. He wins another.
Was ich auch sehr stark finde, also die Deutschen spielen sehr solide. Man sieht im Early so gut wie gar keine Fights von denen, aber im Mittelgame, da wird dann der ein oder andere aus den Teams einfach weggesnackt. Also die spielen schon sehr safe. Aber die haben jetzt 62 Punkte. 10 Punkte brauchen sie noch in den nächsten 3 Games mit diesem inklusive. Also auf jeden Fall machbar. Und wo fliegen die jetzt hin? Hier auf dem Berg oder was? Oder da? Da ist natürlich oh, da wurde Bots aber richtig rausgeholt von UK. Oh, nicht gut. Brex, der Speer aus Germany, hat wieder Informationen rausgeholt, dass die Indie in der Nähe sind, hinter dem Berg.
Them in Thailand love the glider, so looking forward to if Germany gets through into that final stage, which is looking pretty good. We get to see a little maybe glider v glider battles. Malaysia making their move pretty quickly here from their position, but this hard shift down to the southwest, really brutal.
Also hier haben wir auch, ist doch ein Indonesier auf dem Berg gelandet, als Speer. Informationen zu sammeln, wo die anderen Teams sind.
gather. It looks like they've got some high ground stuff available. So India up on the north side have safety, but they want to claim a little bit more territory.
Yeah, Rupesh will just go a little deeper.
Bei Indien sieht es gar nicht gut aus tatsächlich. Die haben 30 Punkte in 10 Matches gemacht. Das ist sieht schwierig auf jeden Fall aus für die, überhaupt weiterzukommen.
They're going to find a lot of free real estate as well. They've got a ridgeline just as they crest into the circle that they can play. You've got some cover inside the paddy fields. If you go too far though, that's where you start running into trouble with the likes of Malaysia and even Canada, but further north.
I love that you say paddy fields. I do really appreciate that. It's great. I love it. All right, over here, India did try to press a little bit further forward, and they haven't really taken much damage, so not the end of the world here at all. You can blow up some of those gas pumps if you so choose. Might be worth doing. Your cars are losing tires here too for India. That's kind of a problem potentially going forward as this game gets further and further on. Poland, a team that is going to not shy away from trying to do damage to you if they can find the opportunity. So now maybe getting a little bit of a better spot. Rupesh trying to reposition the car there. France on the move around the edge of the lake, and they have found themselves even more open space. Plenty to work with. Chinese Taipei ahead.
Yeah, I think India need to pop those, the fuel pumps, the gas pumps themselves. Take any risk of another team using it against you, deal with it, and then move to play on. And I think Poland are smart enough to know if they don't pop it, Poland will use that as an entry a little bit later on. France, though, they've got themselves in this position. I think with 3 players up, it's a good spot to play, because if you lose players, if you get knocked, you've got lots of little crevices and crags that you can hide into and try to maximize points, similar to what we saw Chinese Taipei do in the last map. But look at Braxco.
Brax immer noch am Fliegen.
Right now to the rest of the team is so valuable. He can give them all of Japan's next moves before Japan even realize the moves they're making.
Exactly. It allows you to get in those spots to take pot shots, to take sprays at the rotating players. Parachuting down, and Philippines in trouble. They're able to land one, but the other not long for this world. 10 trip.
Da ist ein Philippiner rausgenommen worden. 10 Tip. Der hat letzte Runde 10 Kills geholt.
Look, Philippines, they've done their job for today. They can have a little bit of fun. They can kind of just try to survive, and well, the circle's going to be favorable to them for now. Up into the northeast, and France, Chinese Taipei making quick rotations. This is actually super important, this battle down in the south.
Yeah, and France are rotating. They're on the move. Pete is inside the garage, and I think that France want it. They're moving now. Pete, he is going to get out of dodge as quick as possible. He's on a bike, so he exposes his back to the team. But France can't land the shot of note, an empty. We'll put in some good covering fire for his teammate to make his way back on in. And you know what? For France, it's all about picking up points.
Oh, das Auto brennt schon.
In the garage, if I'm being honest with the amount of damage that this one has taken. But, you know what? It's better to be able to move everybody, I guess, than just move 2.
I'm a bit worried about that vehicle. If somebody from Malaysia finds an angle and just blows it up, then all of a sudden, you're just kind of like stuck in the back there, not really giving yourself a lot of opportunities to go shooting.
Nice spray von Derek X.
He finds another knock, this time on a Mook from Japan.
Mal rausgenommen.
More damage on the Run AX, but that's the helmet gone, that's the flush found. Germany scooches next to Turkey, losing some players here and there. Both teams, Breck's gone, Turkey losing one as well. Crossberg down. Chris.
Oh. Brex ist raus aus dem Game.
Not finding much there, as Turkey gonna reinforce and try to take this battle square on.
Yeah, 3 players.
Leider konnte man nicht sehen, was genau passiert ist.
And that's the knock that they need. Now you can see that Mika is up on the high ground with the M, with the Mini, but I think he's just going to move on out of there, and Norway will try
to...
How often have we seen Norway and Germany so close together? I love how no matter what the map is, some teams are just magnetized towards each other.
Yeah, it was like yesterday with like Canada and India, just seemed like they were destined to fight no matter what the situation was. You know, that's kind of like a regional thing sometimes too here, where you have similar ideas on how to play the game, similar thought processes on what the options available to you are. How in the world did Philippines get another res to come through? Now you're looking at some damage and Adam again. Look at that. That is
Und der
massive.
nächste Philippiner, der auf dem Berg landen wollte, ist einfach eliminiert worden. Also wie vorhin erwähnt, auf den Berg zu fliegen ist gar keine gute Idee. Und dennoch machen auch die Profis es immer wieder. Oh, starke Granate von Polen. Runax ist genockt. Und so langsam zieht das Game ein bisschen an. Die Zonen werden immer enger und man weiß natürlich nicht wohin. Und so treffen sich einige Teams aufeinander. Und Germany ist auf jeden Fall in Big Trouble. 2 Leute noch drin und die haben noch keine Kills geholt. Keine Punkte die Runde. Wow. Also Monstergranate abgekriegt, aber leider nicht genockt worden. Even though he's not doing damage, he's buying cover. But 4 players of Poland want to get the damage done. The UK, they're going to play in this dip. Well, they might play the dip or they might go a little bit further north. But if they play this position, you've 2 allies. In essence, you've got Chinese Taipei and Philippines. But look at this, Philippines! They're going to drop on down and they're doing serious damage onto Canada.
This is disaster for Canada. They did so good at keeping the Philippines from getting there. Max, Panzer in hand, sees a player. Oh, can't find the angle to use it. Finally does. They are going to get a point there, seemingly. France, though, getting encroached upon. Grenades are out here. Poland just wipes the board with France. Polen hat gerade einfach Franzosen rausgenommen. Und der Klassiker... Mal wieder, das Team, was verloren hat, hatte auch eine Panzerfaust am Start. Also ich weiß nicht, ob das so die mega gute Taktik ist, als zweite Waffe eine Panzerfaust zu haben. Für den ersten Knock ist es zwar ganz gut, aber danach sieht es mau aus. Germany hat gerade einen Punkt geholt. Aber dafür auch ein Spieler. Jetzt ist nur noch einer drin. Und Germany ist leider raus. Das war eine sehr bittere Runde tatsächlich. Establish themselves on the northern side of the map. Why not? Who cares? This is fine for the Philippines. They're just trying to get somewhere. I can't believe nobody's punishing this right now. What in the world is going on?
Oh, Finn is in a bad spot. Finn is in a really bad spot now in this position. Empty. We'll get a great knock on the Calbs as the Philippines do eventually lose one on this routine inside the circle, but there's still 11.
Es sind auf jeden Fall nicht mehr viele Teams drin, die voll Members haben. 10 Teams alive und 4 oder 5 von den Teams sind nur noch zu 4. Also, was heißt nur, sind voll als Team da. Und die anderen haben ein bisschen Troubles. Hier sehen wir es auch nochmal. Indonesien, England, den Indien und Malaysia sind als vollwertige Teams dabei.
Has to go for the heal. That's going to open up the time and the space that the UK needs to get this res through. And that's going to force Savior out the window. And Michael, great play there. Molly into the finish.
Nobody seems to want it here, Pip.
Indonesien mit 10 Punkten die Runde wieder. Also die fühlen sich auf jeden Fall siegessicher und sahnen einfach die Kills hier ab.
the same. Look at this leaderboard right now. Yes, Indonesia are alive, but almost every single other team is either in the race for the top 8 or in the bottom half of the table.
Oh man, Code Marco, I thought might be up to something special, but UK ahead of the curve. Now they're trying to fan out, trying to surround Indonesia, getting involved. A little bit of help here to the UK. They got to be a little bit careful though to the UK. If they overextend, it might open up some sight lines to Indonesia. So got to play a little bit of contain. Vard, oh T-Bone, that is quick. Vard there, 4-2, and Turkey dealt with the UK starting to find their footing.
T-Bone hat den Abschluss gemacht.
Find that hope that they're going to be playing tomorrow.
And now they're in 5th. They keep climbing. Another point, and they're in 4th place. This is as tight a PNC. Well, I was going to say a survival stage, but this is their first ever survival stage. But when it comes to these groups and knockout style play, this is as tight as it can be with a couple of games left. Indonesia with control of the north of the circle, but they will have to vie it out with Team UK to get that position. India, they're just going to keep on chilling, right? This is the second time tonight they've been bang on the center of the circle. They didn't win the last one. Imagine how good it would be for all the Indian fans if their nation is able to take a chicken dinner here at PNC.
I'd love to see it. I really, truly would. I mean, they have played much better this year. That is a fact. And this would be a nice cherry on top for them, to say the least. But they've got some good teams, some good players to deal with. This is one of the sweatiest lobbies I think I've ever seen. It is crazy how hard these teams are playing, how just aggressive they can be, how smart they can be. UK 4 up, a good opportunity to do some damage here. I Am Pete with the AWM wants to stymie their run. Michael taking quite a bit of damage. Indonesia has a phenomenal angle onto the UK's position, and nobody is even messing with them, really. Ketter thought about it, and he's paying the price, so he has to back off. Denmark 4 up. A chance. They might have to make a crash. They might have to
Japan,
make a
Polen
decision.
und Indien haben wieder super Spots. Und die Engländer tatsächlich könnten da auch noch stehen, aber haben wahrscheinlich dann nicht mehr so viel Deckung.
You can't even think about it. You just got a full set, and you know, Poof is on his way. If I see that car on the move, if I'm Gustav, I'm going, guys, take it. Right now, get in there, because Poland have fully regrouped.
I love it. I love the decision here by Poland, and now Denmark doing exactly what you're talking about. This is really heady stuff that you're seeing. And this is going to be a great opportunity for Denmark as well to claim a much-needed win here. At 35 points, could skyrocket up the leaderboard. Few knocks being exchanged. Shen actually cleaned up by Japan, who's got Goni and Fevin. 2 players left, and they're able to combine there to find that kill. Malaysia swinging around the outside, but they have not much to work with here. I don't know where they go. This is just horrible for them. This is so hard.
There's no room in the end. There really is no room. Michael will get the first knock onto Jervis. And now you've just got Pete left standing. He's all gillied up, but there's no bushes indoors, my friend, as Ketter elsewhere will get a knock or two. Bevan from Japan gets it, and here we go. Indonesia full send in on top of India. India managed to find one, but players are falling left, right, circle. Trick with the angle on the side. He's going to pull the pin on a nade to see if he can flush out another.
Es passiert so viel, man kann gar nicht, kommt gar nicht hinterher. Und schon wieder die Panzerfaust, die nichts gebracht hat, außer ein bisschen Damage. Oh, Heilige. UK hat natürlich gerade einen super Spot, da wird schon C4 platziert ans Auto. Aber er muss natürlich noch ins Auto steigen und losfahren. Ach du. Oh no.
Stop short. Trick's got to get out of there so he doesn't get taken down with the vehicle. He's actually taken out by Vard. Nice attempt, but just could not get that car going.
Oh, the captain didn't go down with a ship, but for UK, this is qualification potential right here. Vard, he's going to get a knock and a flush. It's another kill. 10 for the UK as India.
UK hat richtig die Runde abgesahnt. 10 points.
Another one on the board for them. Denmark only 2 kills.
UK ist auch schon längst vom Berg runter angepusht.
Points potential is nowhere near the same level of somebody as the UK and Poland now. They are backs to the wall. 54 points for them as well. They need these points as much as everybody else.
Oh, this is so smart. They've got the door blocked with the bicycle. Can't be open, but Ketter gets Marsalek after he got the knock on the Beamy. Cappy there to clean up the point to at least guarantee it, but Dolphy is taking Cappy and Poland down. Hope for Denmark. The UK trying to finish off India. Michael, oh, that's the full auto Mark 14. You love to see that. Cargo around the edge.
Drei Teams.
There takes down Fex. Looking to do more damage here. Bard throwing the util, hitting about half health onto his opponent. Looking for a little bit more, and that's good around the outside. And UK has 12 kills.
The bark of the MK is almost as dangerous as its bite, as Michael will get money shots on the board. Denmark and the UK. Denmark are now on 44 points. They can get a potential, what's that, 7, 8 more points on the board, which put them into the 50s, which really does bring them into the dance of the fight, as this is a real chance for Denmark now. But in a 3v3, look at T-Bone. Have you seen the position he's gotten himself into, Paper? Now, that's something that Denmark are either going to pay the price of or have a chance to take advantage of.
Yeah, the real question is how aware are they of that spot? It seems like they're at least thinking about it. I think T-Bone has made a little bit of noise up there. I mean, that's 2 Mark 14s that the UK is rocking, by the way. That's going to be in the back of your mind as Denmark probably put a little bit of fear into you, thinking about trying to go for any aggressive maneuvers or positionings. But I think both teams have decided, okay, we've accomplished step 1, that's dealing with the teams that were in the compounds. It's phase 7. There's one more phase to go. Maybe we can just wait this out. If we get lucky, somebody gives us a knock, then that changes the calculus for sure. But until then, play it safe. Don't give anything up for free. Let's see what this last circle gives us and then work from there.
Yeah, look, T-Bone's fallen back. He's realized the risk is not worth the reward in a situation like that. So they're closer to the center of the circle. You've got the hard cover. UK, no, Denmark have to come this way. We saw the utility for Denmark a little while earlier. I think they've only got 3 nades between the team, which could be something worth keeping an eye on. Now, Gustav, a teammate of some of these players, remember, this is something I love about PNC, is seeing teammates go head-to-head. He is on the south side. And look at that circle shift. Now, Denmark really need to pull a rabbit out of the hat if they want to get a win here.
Yeah, the center of the circle looking like it's going to be rather close to Vard's position at the fence line. Saw an AWM floating around there. That could be a difference maker for Denmark, getting that quick knock, but you know that there's going to be level 3 gear, so might take more than 1 bullet to get Ketter to get himself that quick knock. Gustav.
Gustav wurde entdeckt, der von außen flanken wollte.
Oh boy, that is dangerous there. A lot of damage done. Gustav, fancy footwork, escapes a knock. Smoke's going to come down here. Ketter knows that he needs to close the distance. He needs to get himself into a position to fight for that final spot.
Yeah, so the smoke wall is going to be put down. This is their play. If they can get right up on top of that wall where Vard is playing, suddenly things start looking good for Denmark again. Oh, here we go. This could be the play now. They've kept the C4 at the ready. Are they going to take advantage? Duffy is the captain. Gonna no, turn, get through the game. Duffy, you are running this so fine. The ticks are getting quicker and quicker and quicker. Here we go, Paper, and he's gonna just go down himself.
Oh, he almost got Vard on 1 HP after that. So now
was? Das war gerade ein Suicide. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Der Grundgedanke war gar nicht verkehrt, aber es hat leider gar nichts gebracht, außer dass Dänemark einen Spieler weniger hat.
I think that this is not done yet. There's still flash grenades, but look, UK are just farming utility off of all of the crates because you got you know, you've got all the Indian utility that's in this position. You've got all the utility you brought yourself. It is going to take a monumental play from Denmark. Now, T-Bone is wrapping around the edge. If Ketter's heard it. Ketter knows that T-Bone is wrapping around this side. Now, if he peeks at the right time, you could get that opening knock. But look, T-Bone knows exactly where he is. Stun grenades being thrown. Gustav is trying to cover the push on the other side. But Denmark need to make something happen here, Paper, because all the cards look like they're in UK's favor.
The center dot is on the other side of this fence. So
Oh, it's an intenser fight.
to hold here from that window where Denmark might have to make a move through
3 gegen
those
2.
points before they can do anything about it.
Das war eine saubere Granate. Trotzdem Knock geholt.
All of a sudden it's a 2v2.
Oh, Gustav, he volleyed. The molly is going to be good.
Oh, der hat den Heal durchgekriegt.
Get your point. Get it on the board. Swing around the side. This game is here for you to take. He peeks around. Both players are weak, but the MK gets full auto. Ketter does a ton of damage, but it's 1 HP. And Michael, he's not going to risk it for the biscuit just yet. Stumnade tossed up over the edge. Ketter, though, the MK is going to get it done. And UK secure their spot into the grand finals.
Das war aber spannend gemacht.
Nice game there for the UK. Tough situation. Having to fight against an even Denmark squad with the 3v3. They are able to get it done. My goodness, that was a fantastic one. So many cool decisions being made there. So many awesome fights that had to be taken in those compounds. That's a fun circle. I like where that one ended.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. And you know what? In other words, they get the vehicle turned in time. And that C4 completely changes the face of that game. It was a valiant effort. It was a great try. Denmark know that they needed the points where they could get them. But what a play. But Team UK, massive congratulations to them. They shouldn't have been in this position in the first place. A team like that should be through to the weekend a lot earlier, but they get the job done.
Lobby's just too good. I mean, there's so many good teams. And again, everybody is really giving it their best here in the survival stage. So huge props to Team UK. Looking to see if they can get themselves another win. But we're going to watch some highlights, guys. We're going to take a short break, so don't go anywhere. Miramar is on the horizon.
So, 2 Matches.
To sit is to progress. Sit is.
스펙스 BMX 팀 유소년 선수 김한결이라고 합니다. 어릴 때부터 자전거 타는 걸 진짜 좋아해서 지금은 본격적으로 선수 생활을 하고 있어요. 처음 경기장에서 BMX 레이싱 선수들의 경기를 보고 와 진짜 멋있다라는 생각이 들어서 본격적으로 시작하게 된 것 같아요. 스포츠는 나 자신과의 싸움인 것 같아요. 어제보다 발전하기 위해 계속 도전하게 되는 것도 스포츠인 것 같아요. 내가 과연 유망주인가? 책임감 있게 행동해야겠다라는 생각도 들어요. 가장 큰 원동력은 더 잘하고 싶다는 욕심인 것 같아요. 저를 계속 도전하게 만들어요. 저에게 스포츠는 도전이에요. 넘어져도 다시 일어서면 된다는 것. 실패가 아닌 새로운 시작이 기다리고 있어요.
Zweimal Miramar. Wird auch super interessant. Die Map ist riesig. Hohe Berge. Also können wir echt gespannt sein.
Smooth and original, straight from the underground. Listen to the real funk. Hold on. Watch out, the furious. Better be focused. Listen to the real funk. And it goes a little something like this. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. It goes on and on and on and on. Listen to the real funk.
혹시 모델업팅 좀... Smooth and original, straight from the underground.
It is so good to be so close to finding out who the top 16 teams will be competing in the grand finals for PNC. A win for UK in the last map has secured their spot in the finals, but there's still so many teams living on the bubble.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait to see what these last two games have in store for us as we get our man of the match. It's Vard. We're hard for Vard. He has 8 kills,
8
800
Kills.
damage.
Stark gemacht.
That is a tremendous effort. And what a showing that he has brought to the stage for the UK. The man, I mean, we saw some pretty cool moments from him yesterday, but today he has really stepped up.
Well, he recently secured that big move, right? He left foot, he joined FaZe. I spoke to T-Bone about it, and T-Bone was upset because he said, well, he was happy for him too because it's his friend, but he's like, Vard is playing the best PUBG of his life. And yes, he's had some moments where maybe he hasn't shown that over the course of today and yesterday, but this is Vard at his best, and this is what they've gone for. And they were able to ride that dominance from Vard to get the win when they needed it most.
I'm very happy that I switched him onto my fantasy team today. That's all I'm going to say.
I kept him.
25 points for the UK. Big statement game from them. Denmark able to get 11. It's starting to look dire for Denmark. They need more. They need 2 huge Miramars, and every other team that's in their way has just been kind of doing enough here to give themselves hope as well. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. 10 for Poland, not too far behind Denmark. As we look at the total leaderboard, yes, Denmark in 11, but 10 points ahead of them are Poland, and you're 14 points out of 8th where Canada sits.
There's a chance. Like, this is the thing. At the start of today, they needed a big day. Now, thankfully for them, a lot of the teams that are at the top have continued to dominate and get loads of points, which has meant that they're in position.
Das ist sehr close, ja, alles.
And they get a win. Like,
Also ich hoffe ja, dass jetzt Germany noch mal ein paar Punkte holt.
and that's what you and I
In den nächsten 2 Games.
Like, we want to win the last map and have lots of teams in with a chance of qualification. And all I'm going to say is it would be a shame if Denmark don't make it, but any team that qualifies out of this survival stage deserve to be there.
Yeah, for sure. So some work to be done here for teams like Poland. Marcelek's got the sleeves rolled up, and he's letting the camera know that he's engaged, he's ready to go. As it's Miramar, our final 2 maps here to close out the survival stage of PNC 2025. What do the Dusty Dunes have in store for us? We are about to find out.
Death, destruction, and maybe delivering of dreams to some of these players.
Game start.
Going on that one. But this is the final furlong. The last 2 maps, Miramar to get it done. As we just take that lovely panoramic view of resorts. You know what? It almost looks too nice to be on Miramar, doesn't it, resort?
It does, actually. It is by far the nicest buildings, the most gentrified buildings we have on the map. Seen a few circles in there at PGS, so wouldn't mind seeing a few more. It's got some fun stuff to work with. Of course, you can check out some of the team's POVs as we get a very southern plane path right over Los Leones, the northern side, over towards the islands out there on the east. And who knows what this game is going to have in store for us, but certainly eyes towards the center of that. And also, my eyes also going towards France and Germany, who I thought were kind of okay for today, but they haven't really put up many points. So all of a sudden, they're in a spot where they need, like, you know, 4 or 5 points per game here to really feel comfortable. That sounds easy, but with the way things have been going, it's not.
I think teams have counter-stratted the way France have played a little bit. They know they like to play on the edge with 2-2 splits on the side of the circle where there's least traffic. And teams are like, well, let's take them head on. Let's not give them that opportunity. And that's kind of what happened. But you look else around the map, we saw
Germany ganz alleine gelandet.
It's going to be
Kann man in Ruhe hier ein bisschen looten.
inside the circle, and it's not because I spoke about 2
Und der
seconds.
Zirkel ist das schon mal
But look, I want to point
gut
out
away.
if you're looking at your
Und
map,
diese
on the
ganze
very
Nordseite
western side, Chinese Taipei
scheint
were the first
unberührt.
map. They're right on the first thing stand in 7th place. With the circle being what it is, Jiawei and the rest of the team can rotate way up to the... We'll pick up it later, because we got to fight.
What in the world is going on here? Denmark and Turkey. Schilla with the UMP.
Schnell
Gustav,
weg.
oh boy. He needs to get a move on, and it looks like he just barely got out of there in time. Schilla went for the tire. Has another opportunity, another go. Connection's not found, and it looks like it's going to be an escape for Gustav.
Yeah, he's going to get out of there, and I think he just read the situation right. But back to my point, with the circle being what it is, if you do have the map feed open at home, exclamation mark map, if you do have a second screen available to keep an eye, Chinese Taipei, with the flight path we have a brilliant opportunity to take the north side of the circle if they wrap way up to the north, because it's really difficult for a lot of these teams to push so far north, and you know that because of the drop spots, a lot of teams are going to get bogged down in potential rotates with some players maybe falling left, right, and center. So this is a really good opportunity for Chinese Taipei, at least at the early stage of this game.
I'm right there with you, and that would be my expectation for Chinese Taipei, given their play style, given their understanding of the game, that they try to go for something a little bit safer. Sitting in 7th place, not a safe position at all in terms of the leaderboard. Indonesia, they are plenty fine. They are having a whale of a time. I mean, 107 points, getting triple digits already, looking great. What else can you say? Japan struggling, 25 points for them. They want to surpass last year, but it doesn't look like that is going to be the case. It's basically impossible.
Chat, ihr könnt gerade auch nochmal im Chat nachgucken. Oben gibt es mal wieder eine Abstimmung für das Match 11 von den Top 5 Teams, die reingeschrieben worden sind, das Spiel holen wird.
The thing is, somebody has to come last, right? Somebody has to do it. Japan and the passion that they have for gaming and just the eccentricity of how fun they can be. It's sad to see them in last, or down around the bottom. But you know what? Again, get a couple of clips, have a few moments, and maybe we might be about to see another moment for Algenbots, and of course he delivers. Yeah, why not? This guy is a highlight reel.
That was filthy clean. M4 sprays.
Das war disgusting, man. Da hat 2 Leute aus dem Team genockt.
Just this cluster that is around Los Leones. There's tons of teams around here, and they just can't. And the Philippines, they've got nothing to lose. They're playing with house money at this point. So that's an easy decision for them to just go for it. And that is going to be painful. Down to 2 players already for Poland and sitting at 55 points. They needed this to start differently. Germany, another team that I think thinking about a similar idea to what you were talking about before with Chinese Taipei. Go for that wide wrap around the north. Look for that open space.
Yeah, and they know they're probably following their footpath as well. Their footsteps on the way in. And, I think for them, they're in a good position, not a great position. There's 2 teams behind them, but a couple of kills for either could see Germany either climb it or drop that leaderboard. But I think if you look at some things as well, I want to talk about how good Philippines have been, and in particular, I want to talk about Algenbots. So we obviously have a colleague who works for Crafton, Kira. I think we would know him. He said to me before this event started, Algenbots is going to show up, and I was like, "You think so?" And he was like, "I can guarantee you it. I guarantee he's going to show up." He was right.
He's a tremendous player. Again, having the pleasure of seeing him play. He's played at a PGC before in 2021. He's done well at a lot of the PCS APACs. So he came up and talked to me a little bit before the event started. Had a lot of confidence, and it is shining. He is a bright star for the Philippines, as India just trading some shots back and forth. No real damage done there. Algenbots, again, making a bit of a move here as the Philippines just driving around, I think just looking for targets. I mean, they're just happy to just play spoiler for anybody they run into. Turkey is like, yo, we still got something to work on here, so can you please not? Can you just not?
It's the thing, right? Philippines have earned the right to play whatever way they want to in the last 2 games, but the rest of the team's like, please just play the way you've been doing, but it's them. They're fun. And as our observers pointing out, we now see a team that's trapped in the mud. Yes, you've got a compound, but all your vehicles have lost at least 2 tires plus. So you're essentially stuck in that position until either you leave on foot or someone else delivers vehicles to you in the form of a crash.
Yeah, it's not an ideal spot to be in, to say the least. Kantara, though, going to be the home for a couple of the Turkey players. India, Karku stuck behind his Murado here. Not sure if this is intentional or not. He's got a dip, and he should be able to find the ability to maneuver on out of there, and will do so. Malaysia coming in late, but no problems here that we can see on the map. There's not really anybody super close to them until you get up towards Spain and the UK, closer to the Kantara crater. and easy sledding for now. Just want to see them try to get a little bit deeper into games. I mean, they're always finding fights early, whether intentional or not. I'd like to see them just kind of slow it down a bit, try to play for a win.
Yeah, I'm looking elsewhere like as well. Indonesia, they're going to play for the win as well because they see this as a great opportunity to really hone your skills in. But they're going to run right into Zerath, who, by the way, is LFT. And he's played pretty well at times for Germany over the course of this one. He takes a ton of damage from Teddy, and it's Setsuna that will get the job done as he gets the knock, and Teddy with a great nade. Flush. You know what? People usually be like, oh, they want to bring a teddy bear to bed. Teddy's been putting people to bed all day long.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. He has been nightmare fuel for a lot of these squads. Simoy letting loose now with some util of his own, and oh, it's Chris. 1 HP, literally. Trying to go for the first aid in the smoke. There was a molly that followed up. I'm not sure if it landed actually in that smoke that he almost put his feet into. Teddy, though, just going to drive this. I mean, again, another team played with house money, and they know it. Oh, no, it's Chris. Can't escape on the motorcycle. Germany
Unlucky, dass Germany auf Indonesien gestoßen ist. Indonesien ist einfach super strong unterwegs. 2 Leute sind raus aus dem Game.
T-Bone getting a knock for Team UK, and that knock would have meant a lot more in the last map than this one because they're now in a pretty safe and secure spot. But as you do, you pick up your teammate, you get him in the back of the Murado, and you move on and get him rezzed. Because a lot of people ask how long that first knock phase is. It's 2 minutes. That is long. That's an eternity.
It really is. And you know, when you're out in a field like that, no way you want to stick the res out there. So really nice to be able to have that option, to be able to put players in cars, to get them to safety, to keep them in the fight. Spain is going to see this, take some shots at Empty, but Empty just going to park the car inside of the cement compound, and the res, I'm going to assume, should be doable here. Oh no, what happened to Savior?
Well, it could be an important point for France here, and it is. They needed that. A couple of substandard games for them, and now got them in a good spot. As we look at our Miramar flashback to what we've had over the yesterday, 36 points over 2 months. This is where Philippines really rocketed their day. Indonesia up there as well. Turkey with 23. They need that. Like, they need that on a map, not even in Miramar at all, because 23 points for them at 40 will not be enough to qualify.
Yeah, well, they do get a point there. 10-trip gone. He was really the superstar for the Philippines on this map, and he's out early. Not that they're too plussed about that. It should be A-okay, but Turkey needs those points like you were talking about. Now, Code Marco looking back in another direction. Here's a replay.
Oh, no way.
This is no freaking way, dude.
Is this the Murado?
Please tell me he just stops. Okay, Shen had already gotten hit. Oh, he hit the heady. Oh, my. Oh, T-Bone.
He's nasty, right?
Dude, he is.
And he's so soft-spoken when you meet him as well. Like, you wouldn't know the guy as a menace inside the server if you were to speak to him.
That's true. He is a very kind of mild man.
Also Germany ist richtig in Trouble. Wir haben hier Team 7, 8 und 9, die ziemlich close sind zu Germany. Und wenn die 3 hinteren Teams da gut aufholen mit Punkten und wir nicht mehr auf Platz 6 bis 8 sind, dann wird es natürlich auch schwierig, ins Finale einzuziehen, ne? Ich hoffe ja, dass die noch irgendwie die 2 Mates wieder retzen können, wenn sie die Möglichkeit bekommen.
Marco's wrapping around the other side, so really Crossberg is just being a conduit of information for his team. Oh, Poland are going to bring themselves back. But do you want to know something funny about T-Bone, actually?
What's that?
He didn't name
Polen hat jetzt auch seine 2 Mates wieder geretzt.
One of his teammates snores incredibly loudly.
Oh, I'm not his teammate. I snore incredibly loud, so I was like, is that me?
You gonna wake up
Und hier haben wir Germany unter Beschuss von Norwegen.
Get out of my house. Yeah. No, that is funny. I respect that decision because I am the same where I can't sleep if somebody's snoring, and I don't want to put someone through being in the same room as me to suffer through the same. There's that trap. There's that trap. Nicely done by Marco there with the dragon.
Gute Schüsse von Code Marco.
India, but Turkey had been setting this up for a while.
Yeah, and India will move on and play the rest of this map as a 3. They did get a drop though. I see a P90 in their hands. And, you know, I just saw the P90 delivered. You know what I've just realized? I don't think we've seen a single BRDM today.
Not that I remember. I don't think we've seen a P90 kill today either.
No. It's been... What in the PUBG is going on?
I'm not
Die
sure.
Türken pushen
It's kind
gerade
of been a little bit of a
die
different day
Inder.
today. The C4s haven't really worked. It's been kind of just getting it done with the normal stuff. I mean, recalls are still
Kanada ist
mega
auch gut
important in
am
this.
Rotieren.
Malaysia
Muss
setting
T-Bowling
up
jetzt
with an
aufpassen.
emergency pickup for themselves. Canada looking for a pre-rotation.
Germany,
Malaysia,
die
let's see what they wanna
zwei
do. Truck stop is actually
sind in der
available.
Nähe der
Some of the
Zone.
high ground to the north of it there for the taking. Canada stops on the edge. Going to be satisfied with this compound. Going to be satisfied with the hillside in front of them to maybe play through. A little bit of revenge here attempted by India. So far, not good. Shilla, though, SKS on the side, takes a bunch of damage, has to prone down. Oh, he's actually going to re-peek on this. He's got a little bit of help now. Oh, Karku.
Yeah, 1 HP, but Marco, he's in position. He'll find Ryzen, and the P90 is not going to sing out a song of this map. Marco spots another, he takes a ton of damage, but Marco gets another one. He's
Marco
down to 4
2 Knocks.
HP. And a dream
Starke
now for India.
Sprays gehabt.
Down to shot by. He's going to smoke things off, but he is down. Turkey, they needed to get things going, and they've got 5 kills in the opening 15 minutes. And elsewhere, Denmark, a team who need points, they get the early knock on the Team UK. Denmark need these. They need to clean this up, and they need to keep everybody alive.
Bard, so devastating on Rondo. And it's again Denmark who's going to be facing. This time around though, Denmark able to get that early advantage, taking Fex out. Gustav trying to figure out where exactly the UK has repositioned to. T-Bone decides, well, maybe again, I'm going to be that flanker. We saw it earlier, that seems to be his role on this squad. So looking to do that. Brex actually got the knock, but Master able to get onto the ground there. So he didn't die. You know, if you're high enough up, there's no hope. You're just dead if you get shot out of the sky, but it was low enough. But still, Mika knows it. He wants to go for the flush.
They're by themselves, though. The rest of Poland are way too far away
Und
to help in
Germany
any way,
muss noch ein
shape, or
paar
form. So in essence,
Punkte
this is
holen.
just down to Cappy to try to hold back all of Germany. He doesn't even have a sight.
Nice, da haben sie 2 Knocks. Holen sich die Kills auch. Super gemacht.
And they just never had a chance against Germany. And those are vital points for them, as they will now go, or should now be, in 5th place, actually level with France now. But for Germany, they've secured truck stop to themselves, and that could be big for them. Elsewhere though, have a look, Indonesia still having fun and just knocking like what? Who? Like Teddy is insane.
This is, again, the best I've seen from these boys, and they are not letting go. They know that they've got some momentum, and they want to keep it up. They want to keep it into those grand finals. Code Marco did scoop up that P90 that he claimed off of India. Some shots from Spain into Shin. He is weak. Josh has to throw a smoke to try to bail him out. Puba, no hope there. P90 and an AUG. You're not getting through that. Now, Marslek was way ahead of this, so for Poland, you still have 1 player left, and he's going to try to rat his way through. Turkey continuing to just ruin Team States with the point got stolen.
Die Deutschen müssen auf jeden Fall aufpassen, wenn die Indonesier hier oben vom Berg runterkommen.
7 kills now for Turkey.
Und näher ran pushen können. Und da ist Schiller raus.
And here comes Marco. He's coming in like a storm. P90 in his hand.
Jetzt kommt die
But Mome
P90.
will throw the nade behind himself, and Fullspace gets the knock on to Marco. This is big for Sweden. They desperately need every point they can find, and this should be another one, unless the rest of Turkey can get here in the blink of an eye. You can see the pressure coming on. Mome still alive, 19 HP, but eventually he falls. And for Turkey,
Und die
they're
Türken
fighting
spielen
4
super aggressiv, haben 7 Kills schon.
Anywhere close enough,
Die wollen auf jeden Fall noch mal ein bisschen aufholen.
for Turkey and Sweden.
Off screen, France is losing players like crazy. That's not great for them. UK repositioning. Germany trying to hold down the truck stop. They do a little bit of damage, but no knocks found. Mika gonna be trying to find a different angle. Norway here trying to eliminate a team that's well behind them on the leaderboard, a team that needs to survive, that needs those extra points just to feel comfortable. James going for the reload, going for a re-peek. Sky out there. He's the last one up for France. This is not great for them. He's also got to try to find ways to either get this res or play for salvage. Looks like he's going to opt to go for the res, and not much Norway can do about it. Now Malaysia right underneath to the south, and they have set up shop.
Oh, where do they go?
Oh, France.
Yeah, they're going right in towards a trap as the vehicle for Turkey is about to blow as well. Adam getting an important knock for Canada, and Canada picking up 2 more points of their own as Chinese Taipei are going to go level on points with Canada now, and they are really pushing with just this and one
Das sieht
more
super
map to go.
schlecht aus.
Pushing towards it. Norway,
Gut, Germany hat jetzt 65 Punkte, aber danach schon 62. Zwei Teams mit 62. Und Kanada auch 61 Punkte mit vollem Team noch. Wow, das wird ein super closes Match. Beziehungsweise das letzte Match auch noch. Match 12. Oh mein Gott, das wird alles viel zu spannend gemacht.
Got a knock onto Algenbot. CJ on his last leg has to try to throw some smokes out, stands up, pays the price. High man there. Norway wipes out the Philippines and looks to go for this res.
Yeah, 3 teams inside a truck stop as the circle goes to Indonesia. Spain with a great spot towards the south as they could have their first really good game since way back on Erangel yesterday. But it's Canada that will likely push that way. Malaysia now. They are surrounded by Norway to the north and Denmark to the south as they are the filling in a Scandinavian sandwich as Malaysia just look to battle. 14th place for them. They're playing for pride at this point, and they would love to do some real damage now. But they're also looking inwards. They're looking towards Chinese Taipei as well as Shen unloads a volley of rounds towards He-Man.
Man, if Malaysia had another frag grenade, I think they could have gotten at least 2 knocks, but they just don't have any available. So instead, it's just going to be Norway able to get the heals through to recoup, regroup. Canada, in the meantime, did get Adam back on his feet. What a day Adam has had. Man of the match earlier on Erangel. Got those 2 big kills onto Turkey. Norway now driving into the truck stop. Will this be their last stop? Rex on the roof. He takes some damage in exchange. Grenade being cooked. Takes a peek over.
This is genius.
Loose.
Oh my God.
Tens gets through and the grenade just misses the mark and he's down.
Oh, I thought that nade was perfect. He read the rotate, but he just didn't cook it long enough. And now Canada under severe pressure. I saw that it was Denmark that got a knock as Ketter will get the flush onto Finna. Denmark's story at PNC might not just be finished yet as Japan will fall. 10 teams left alive, 30 players, but Chinese Taipei are bleeding. They're burnt. They get knocked. They're down and out inside 7th place. Now Canada, can they outlive? Can they survive long enough? That's a big nade from Adam. He gets another nade, another knock. They're pushing on to Spain, and this is a huge opportunity. But Denmark with a backstab. Beamy will get 2, and Canada getting torn asunder, and they are out.
What a play from Denmark, knowing that Canada ahead
Das ist gerade richtig gut. Team 6, 7, 8 und 9 sind gerade eliminiert worden.
And I know Avenger's got to be pumping his fist back there
Und
backstage. And here you go, Spain up ahead. Denmark has to know that they have a great opportunity to wipe them out and take
der eine Deutsche hat gerade nochmal 3 Punkte geholt. Leider haben wir jetzt nicht gesehen, was für ein Team da abgeswiped hat. Aber die haben jetzt gerade mal gut Punkte geholt. Das ist schon mal sehr wichtig gewesen. Besonders fürs nächste Match. Und was halt, wie gesagt, gerade super gut sind, ist die anderen Teams gerade alle eliminiert worden sind, die jetzt gerade in diesem Match keine Punkte mehr holen können, um aufzuholen, beziehungsweise die Deutschen zu überholen. Jetzt haben wir ja die 3 Engländer in der Nähe von Mika.
Duffy with the flash grenade. It's going to stun him just a little bit as Arbafak will run around the edge of the blue, but you're running towards Shadow, who has Teddy crawling, creeping this way, and this is a big moment. 9
Da ist Mika eliminiert worden. Deutschland ist raus aus dem Match. Jetzt sind es noch 6 Teams, 18 alive.
They can just eke out a couple more points.
Oh, Teddy the Terror about to strike behind Spain. They were doing such a nice job here fending off this push from Denmark. Denmark decides that the better option is to go the other way, and it's actually Trick who finds the angle onto Abra, and he is gone. And Shadow Eco, yeah, not long behind his teammate. And this is devastating there for Spain. Indonesia, 9 kills in this one. Great positioning in the center of the circle if they want. Instead, they're going to take fights. They're going to square right up against Denmark and say, we're going to go head-to-head. If you're going to get through to that final stage, you got to go through us.
Yeah, and you don't want center of the circle either because of all the terrain above it giving everyone an advantage. So Indonesia reading the circle brilliantly. But for Denmark, this could be their PNC dreams.
Indonesia mit 9 Kills die Runde wieder. Also die sind echt richtig stark. Habe ich schon ein paar Mal gesagt, aber ich kann es nochmal wieder betonen. Mit 119 Punkten nach 11 Matches. Dann haben sie gerade so 12 Kills pro Runde geholt. Also das ist schon Mashallah, der Gute.
Team Denmark, he wants to be the tip of the spear, try to break things open for them, and then open up the doors for Ketter, Gustav, and his teammates to do some other damage. Meanwhile, on the backside, oh, actually, Setsuna takes that kill. Marsalek needed that point so bad for Poland, couldn't get it in time. Indonesia, though, seemingly sussed out by Denmark, so they feel comfortable enough to go for some grenades, but they actually missed the mark quite wide. It's a bit of a misread here for Denmark, wasting some valuable utility.
Yeah, Marsalek's position is known now by the Danes as well. As Setsuna's just going insane over on the other side of the circle. IAMP is going to do some cleanup work, but that'll be Setsuna again with another knock, and it's IAMP that will fall. Denmark, though, finally look like they're locking horns for now, but they've fallen back. The ridgeline is just too open to step up over it, and the players are too good that you know if you expose yourself, you are going to get knocked. But look at Trick trying to creep around the low ground, and look at that circle shift as well.
Oh, nobody's in it. Literally nobody's in this next circle. Marsalek on the backside here.
Also der Circle ist crazy verrückt. Indonesien mit 4 Leuten im Game, ein Speer oben am Rand der Map, der die ganze Zeit Infos gibt, den anderen 3, die voll im Fighten sind. Und jetzt haben sie die Information gekriegt, dass das Haus leer ist, und so wird rangesprintet. Dann packt sich das Auto und fährt auch noch mit ran. Und ja, die anderen 3 wollen nicht ins Haus, sondern wollen sich Frags holen. Weil sie können. Weil sie können. Das ist scheißegal.
Indonesia hold all the cars. Now Jervis, he tags a little bit of damage onto Simoy. Malaysia, they want to make this push as well. Marsalek out in the open. Can Ketter get it done? Ketter will find that one. It's another point for
Polen
Denmark
raus.
as they hit 10, and they are
Letzten
up to
4
16
Teams.
points. They really are now in with as good a chance
Letzten
as
3
they could
Teams,
possibly
sorry.
get to qualify to the finals. Malaysia, 3 kills on the board here.
Und ich denke mal, Indonesia wird hier noch ein paar Kills holen. Und ich wette auch die Runde abschließen. Dänemark mit 1 Genockten und 2 alive. Nope. Nur noch 1 alive.
It's a 1v4. Can Gustav do
Und
the
Indonesia wird
unthinkable here?
sich
Simoy right up close and
Gustav
personal.
wahrscheinlich jetzt auch noch snacken.
He has no
Yep.
idea. Indonesia takes the game away.
Well, even a Great Dane can be put on a leash from
Wahnsinn.
time to time, and it's Indonesia that are able to get
Die
the
holen
kill
sich
on
den
Gustav and
dritten
get
Win
that game
dieser
done.
Lobby,
The
Mann.
rich keep on getting richer. But
Die denken sich auch, Mensch, ist das einfach hier, was hier abgeht.
and they know qualification can be there and can be grabbed, but so do about 5
Wahnsinn.
other teams at this point.
It is going to be absolutely wild going into this final map. I cannot wait. It has so much on the line here for so many teams, so many different moments that could have gone one way or another. What a brilliant game from Denmark overall. I mean, really fighting when they needed to, when they could take good fights. I don't know what you're going to do against Indonesia. They're just way too good right now to seemingly be stopped by anybody. Man, I thought for a moment there Denmark might be able to get it done, but yeah, that reposition at the end from Indonesia saying, nope, we're taking the win. Too bad, so sad.
Yeah, Indonesia have just played a blinder. Like, they've been so good. Their point tally is insane. And, like, Teddy is playing so well. This is a flashback to T-Bone's brilliant knock on the shed. The headshot followed up by the body shot. Sweden picked up a couple of points that keeps them inside of contention here as well.
Wahnsinn.
There was the fight alongside of Turkey when Mome was able to pick up a kill or two for themselves. And, you know, Turkey, they started that map so strong, but they got snuffed out just as quickly as they were putting points on the board.
No kidding, no kidding. And there was some hope here as well for Turkey, but Sweden had other ideas. Buzzface with this off angle doing quite a bit of damage, even though, you know, they're kind of able to win the fight. Disaster struck for Chinese Taipei. They ran into the buzzsaw that is Indonesia, and they got cut down. Canada as well got struck from behind. It looked like maybe they were going to accelerate in this game, give themselves a really clean result to find some good footing, but Beamy had other ideas.
Yeah, you could see the player count there as well. Like, Finna just had to, like, what are we supposed to do? You know, his hands up in the air, but they have got as good a chance as all these teams. They're in the top 8, I believe. Denmark, though, really closed that gap. Gustav fell. Denmark got in 9th place. They started today right down at the bottom of this leaderboard. Not at the very bottom, but down there. And they are now so close. And look up above your head. He's going to be Martin Avengers just walking by the casting desk, and he is going to be feeling good going into this last game.
And he points to the jersey, says, yeah, Denmark, doable, you'd say? Oh yeah, 2 points, easy?
Yeah.
Love to see it. What an effort they put in, though. You have to be impressed. But still, work to be done. There's still one more map. There's still one more game. Anything is possible. That was a belter, man. That was a lot of fun.
Can you remember the last time there was this many teams in contention to qualify with one map to go? It's been a while.
Not that it's been this many. I mean, usually there's like 3 or 4, but it's like 8.
Yeah, and at the international level, it's even crazier to have this situation. Now, it's all been enabled by the fact that the likes of Indonesia and, you know, obviously Philippines have been so good, it's allowed that opportunity. But let's have a look at our top 4 once more. 12 kills for Denmark, 15 for Indonesia, and like Turkey got 7 kills of their own. But I really thought that was their game. They were building so much momentum. You had the P90 in Code Marco's hands, but Sweden had different thoughts.
Yeah, they did. Oh man, I was looking at that game for Turkey and I thought, oh yeah, they're on one. They're feeling it. Yeah, I mean, Fuzzface again. He's just such a smart player. He takes a great off angle there. I mean, you know, Sweden, a lot of their success is on the back of him. He's been fragging. He's been making great decisions.
So,
I'm really happy to see
dann gehe ich noch kurz auf Toilette und gleich wieder zurück.
Of the match. It's gonna be Trick this time. 5 kills, a ton of damage. What else do you need to say about this team?
Yeah, what's second man of the match tonight? Like, yeah, obviously Teddy's been great as well. You could really toss a coin between those two. But Trick has been so good. But again, you're going to have 1 or 2 players on a team that get loads of kills. But it's not just him. like some of the decision making by his teammates enabled them. Like they left an anchor on the north side of the circle in that fight with Denmark. He was like, right, I can see what's going on. Fall back, play this ridge line. You're going to be safe. They have made all the right decisions. And let's have a look at the overall match points from that one. And it'll be no surprise, Indonesia, they pick up the lion's share with 25 points. But Denmark weren't too far behind.
Back-to-back second places for Denmark. They're really in a position now where they can actually make it. You know, it seemed maybe almost unthinkable at the beginning of the day. Like you said, they were way down at the bottom of the leaderboard. Now all of a sudden, now they're like, okay, now we should be making it. Now we feel confident that we can do this. Malaysia, you know, they're done, but you know, making good moves here at the end, kind of starting to figure it out a little bit, giving their region something to be proud of for their first appearance at PNC. And there you go, look at that, Canada 63, Chinese Taipei 63, Denmark 63.
This is on a knife's edge. And I said at the start of the day that I thought that Sweden would finish in 8th place. They have tumbled down the leaderboard today so far. But I'm looking at this. Poland have a chance. Sweden have a chance. Denmark are in the hunt. Canada, Chinese Taipei, France, even Germany aren't safe on 68 points as things stand. This is going to be as tense a game as you're ever going to see. And the thing about this is, you've got two Scandinavian teams in 9th and 10th. Are they going to join Norway and be playing at the, you know, over the course of the weekend? Or will we see Canada join the rest of the Americas teams? Or could it be Chinese Taipei that hold on to their spot? It is all up for grabs as we get ready to go into Miramar for the final time in the survival stage.
I also want to give a big shout out to Adam here. 18 kills in the survival stage. I mean, this is the best PUBG I think he's ever played. He is absolutely feasting. Fuzzface and Mome doing great here for Sweden, 17 and 16 apiece. Really leading the charge. Love to see that Fuzzface still got it. The wily veteran doing phenomenal stuff. Poland needs a little bit more damage out of some of these players. Yeah, Marsalek, a known quantity, but need to see Cappy maybe step up a little bit as we are ready. It is the final game of the day here for the survival stage of PNC 2025. Miramar is where we end. Who has it in them to make it to the finals?
Oh, it's on a knife's edge. What will the flight path be? That's the first chapter of the book, and it's another Southern favoring flight path. Going from about 2 p.m., making its way down to the very southwest at around 7, finishing off in prison. Wouldn't a Drumstick Island finish be the most hectic way to finish off a PNC?
I can only dream. I can only dream that it goes down there. It almost never does. Every once in a while you get lucky, but gosh, that would be so fun. I'll have to see. You got my hopes up, man. Now I'm just like, that's all I can think about. I'm like, oh, what if we get that finish around the prison? There's so many cool hillsides around there to play on. But anyway, see if there's any more weirdness at the beginning. We did see an almost, was it Turkey and Denmark at the beginning of that last one? Looks like, though, this time, I think Denmark a little bit further away. Not going to quite edge as close to that Kantara position, at least not initially.
Yeah, Canada going over towards Chumasera as well as they drop off the plane a little bit later than some of their rivals for that top 8. Quickest boots on the ground, though, will have been Denmark and Chinese Taipei, who are a risk-averse team, have dropped at the first team off the plane. They've dropped way up to the north. They are just going to try to avoid trouble as long... Oh my! What have we just been given in that circle? This is not what Germany needed. This is not what Canada needed. This is right into the books of Denmark. They have such an opportunity out of all the teams outside the top 8 now to loot quick and get a real prio spot very quick.
Yeah, the real question is what is the prio for Denmark here? There's a couple options, and what's really weird is if this does something really bizarre and hard shifts down to the southwest, towards like Kantara, towards those fields. If you're not in one of those compounds early, it makes your job exponentially more difficult to try to get deep into the game. But if you take one of the compounds around Truck Stop or something like that, then, you know, if it goes north, you're giving yourself a really nice opportunity to kind of play safe, play smart, and get yourself another, you know, good placement point finish at the very least. have to keep our eyes on Denmark. The UK, just to that south. France as well needs some points, so they're going to be another one to keep your eyes on coming out of Minas Generales.
I really don't like this for Germany or Canada, because with the circle being so far up to that extremity of the flight path, they're going to run into heavy traffic no matter where they go. Like, a significant portion of the circle is water, so we're essentially playing phase 2 inside of phase 1. So if they decide to go south, you run into Norway, Malaysia. If you go in a direct path, you've got Turkey, India, UK. You try to go north, forget about it. Look how many teams are going to be trying to go in the north side of the circle.
Hear me out. Boats. Boats. No one expects it. No one will ever expect it. If there's any player in PUBG history that would be insane enough to do it, it's Chris. I don't think they're going to, but you actually bizarrely have an opportunity here to actually do that. Oh no, Shilla has VAR'd. A great start for Turkey. I mean, there's a weird world where they can do this, and it has to be kill heavy.
They need at least 24, 25 points, because you need to get more points than Poland, Sweden, Denmark, Canada, Chinese Taipei to get in. So they need every domino that could fall their way. They need it to happen.
Yep.
But
But
you're saying there's a chance.
Stranger things, my friend. Stranger things have happened. I have seen the most bizarre of bizarre in PUBG esports, so I don't count anything out until it's mathematically impossible, basically. Like, yes, extremely unlikely, probably like 1% chance here, to be perfectly honest. But there's, yes, still a chance.
And look, as long as there's still fight, that's the main thing. Give yourself a chance. You can only control what you do in this circle. Everything else, if it's meant to happen, it will happen. Denmark, they've gone and secured themselves. It looks like they're going to put all 4 players, so all their eggs are going to go in the basket of center-ish circle, right? They're banking on this going north towards El Azahar, because they're saying, you know what, there's a lot less land mass to the south. That's going to be really risky. So we're going to take this position in particular, because realistically, if you look at those fields towards their northeast, only crazy teams are going to go there. But some teams are crazy enough to do it.
Oh, sure.
So, hier bin ich wieder. Sorry für die Verspätung.
Have to focus 3 directions instead of 4. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a really good point. There will be at least one team.
Jetzt kommt jetzt wieder eine kleine Abstimmung für Match 12 in Frage.
Because like Twisted Minds, for example, really likes that area because it's like, well, nobody else really goes here, so it's usually safe.
Well, it should be Chinese Taipei.
They should.
Moving in from the north. Little bit of traffic here in the middle of the map as Bots will get a knock onto Jervis, but Shen will trade it back. And the Sandstorm is just
einen Knock gemacht.
Everybody empty. Will claim his mag. He gets 2 before he even has to hit that reload.
Malaysia noch 2 Leute raus.
Pete, Empt and Shen for Malaysia, Philippines, and here comes Spain, because why not? Viva España, as Explicit will look to get a couple of points on the board for them. Arbifact with a wrap, he's going to get it. Let's go, vamos Spain. It's the last map, but let's get moved out of 16th into 15th, and that's what it's about.
Hey, that's one for the highlight reel right there. That was really nice from Spain. That is a perfectly timed hit onto that fight. You can't do it better. Claim your points, head back to Impala, head back to safety. Chef's kiss. Really nicely done there by Spain. You know, for a lot of these teams at this point, your day is secured. You know exactly what the result is going to be, so a little bit of early fighting is quite fun. Sweden, oh my goodness, and who else but Indonesia is going to be shooting into this. But so far, Sweden, okay. Got to aim pretty far down that wire to actually get those shots to connect at that distance, and it looks like no problem.
Also jemanden zu treffen auf dieser SIP, da die gerade hoch in den Himmel fliegen, ist einfach ultra schwer. Aber die versuchen es natürlich trotzdem. Philippinen sind raus. Keiner mehr am Leben, aber die haben genug Punkte, um natürlich ins Finale einzuziehen. Und spannend wird es natürlich hier ab Platz 5.
And mobility could be the difference between a win and a loss here for them as well. So they got to get this decision on point. Another team
5, 6, 7, 8, 9 und 10, 11. Die sind alle sehr nah beieinander. Und Platz 1 bis 8 ziehen ins Finale ein, also wird es wirklich spannend, wer für das Finale drin bleibt. Hier ist Godspot. Dieser Spot hier auf dem Berg ist super gut. Das ist so eine große flache Stelle mit etlichen Corners an den Seiten, wo man sich wirklich gut einbunkern kann. Schweden hat sich auf jeden Fall super Positioning schon mal gekrallt. Ob sie dann von da oben auch Kills holen werden, werden wir sehen.
So you play this right, you're going to be able to farm traffic that rotates its way by. I love this decision from Sweden. And the best part about this position, you can ego peek. Because if you get knocked, it's an easy
Versucht jetzt da die Reifen platt zu schießen über 500 Meter oder 1 Kilometer. Leo ist raus. Unlucky für ihn. Aus dem Auto rausgenockt.
Oh no, disaster strikes for Chinese Taipei, but Denmark opting to go for a pretty spread out hold of this crossroads on the eastern side, and it pays big. You couldn't have asked for a better team to get that point against other than Canada. So man oh man, destiny looking Denmark's way. Canada way on the south, pretty free until they get up into the fields that are west of Impala. That's where India has spread the heck out. They have claimed a bunch of really powerful positions if the circle hard shifts in that direction. If you're wondering if this is going to go islands, almost assuredly not. There's not enough water in it. It almost never, with this particular circle, goes to the islands. Just want to let everybody at home know you're basically your island's already out of play.
I know what you're up to. You're trying to reverse cast or curse it into existence. But Canada, this position, they need a southern shift. Germany is right beside them, and Germany are up on to 68 points. Like, they're not safe. Like, it's a lot of points, but I don't think that... I think that 68 points, it's iffy, because all the teams below you are going to find a way to just garner points and keep climbing that leaderboard.
It's like, it should be fine,
yeah,
but again, weird things happen.
Yeah, like you see how much 1 point impacts. The 1 kill put Denmark from, was it 9th place into 7th? That's, oh, that shift. That has gone so far north. Chinese Taipei are going to milk this position now to try get a couple extra points. Poland, they're delighted with that shift because it increases their chances. But Canada, they're going to be forced now to play aggressive, and it's not really the way that they play.
Germany's got a nice angle onto them. They're taking some damage. Those vehicles are getting beat up as well. Not the greatest situation to be in. You're at least able to get the vehicle behind the house, obscuring it from Germany's sightlines enough that you're going to be able to regroup here for a moment. But what does Germany want to do? Have they sussed out which team this is, and do they want to just go for the knockout blow to take them out of the event? They're going to drive by, circle, an opportunity here for Shin.
The tire. That might... Mika's going to keep on moving, but that tire pop, Adam's going to push up off the back of it to see if they try to do a little bit of swap, and that means Germany are going to lock in this fight. 4 points could be huge for either Canada or Germany. Now Mika will move it once more. I think that was clever by Germany. Get a couple of players in the fight to allow you to get regrouped into these vehicles, and what could have been fireworks will be dampened for just a little moment as Spain look to, oh, come on India, land that Murado, let's go.
Never in doubt.
Yeah.
Never in doubt. They got to get moving. They're going to have to leave a player behind, maybe. I think the res might have come through, actually, for India there. Or at least is trying to be stuck. Oh, is it? Oh, no. I think a tire might have got popped there, and he's trying to get through. Looks like he's okay, but Karku is going to pay the price. Michael going to claim a point here for the UK. And, oh there's a knocked player in this. Oh, no. Oh, it's disaster.
Yeah, it's one more shot. India, they get into cover, but for how long?
Oh, that was dangerous.
That was scary, and another one's going to get knocked. It's all going wrong for India. But I'm going to, right, they're eliminated. But I'm going to put this into perspective. They should be so proud of what they've come here and done. Up until this upcoming stage,
India ist raus.
inside of APAC.
Wird nicht ins Finale schaffen.
Qualified for this event. They've performed better than any
Gefährlich ist halt immer noch
in the past.
Kanada.
Hold your heads up high. It's been a brilliant, debut for these 4 players, and I'm excited to see this region continue to grow.
Exactly, it's improvement, and that's what you're looking for, event to event. Hot and spicy, taking some damage. Norway just gonna keep their eyes peeled.
Schweden hat halt immer noch den Berg.
Players from Sweden will give them
Hat sich
opportunities.
sogar
The only
Defense da
concerns
oben
you
auf
have
dem
from
Berg
these positions,
runterholen
like
lassen.
you said, you can ego peek, but you're gonna wear down those vests
Ihr
and
Lieben, ihr
helmets.
könnt
Not
noch
gonna
mal
have
im
easy
Chat
access,
gucken, da könnt ihr eine
to
kurze Abstimmung
replacements
machen,
necessarily, because you didn't bring a vehicle in here
wer
with some
dieses
backups
Match
with
holen
it.
wird.
Also, ammo
Einfach
can become a
anklicken,
concern
abstimmen
from these
und
positions. You'll see teams just kind of
mitmachen.
fly through bullets. Well, there's one of those knocks.
Puh,
Again, not the
da
end of the
wurden
world.
Mormen aber
Perfectly easy to res, but
auseinandergenommen auf dem
as time
Berg.
goes on, some of that attrition does start to wear you down.
Yeah, it's the tertiary utility, I like to call it, the helmets and the vests. And as you said, you make a good point, it gets worn down, but this position's not about winning the map, it's getting kills.
Right.
And,
Oh, die nächste
you know,
Zone
you're playing
wird
that
jetzt
position.
gleich
What harm
kommen.
is losing your helmet if you know you're guaranteed to get rezzed? Now that's a great shift for Sweden.
Und Germany hat
That puts
eigentlich
even more cards
eine
into
relativ
their
gute
deck.
Position
Give
hier
them
an
a
der
chance
Seite
of getting more points on the board
des
as far as
Strandes
places are concerned.
am Ufer,
It's also
aber
awful for
tatsächlich
Canada. They gambled, they
vom
went
Berg
north,
aus, wo
they're
Schweden
right beside
ist,
France now,
können
and
die
it
sehr
shifts
leicht
towards
unter
north.
Beschuss kommen. Also
They're
müssen sie
taking
gut
to the
aufpassen, dass sie da
Where's
nicht
Canada gonna go?
gesnackt werden
That's
von
the only
denen.
thing I can think of that would be potentially safe. The issue is that Germany's still in the lobby. Chinese Taipei is driving in that direction. I have no idea what your landing point is. Maybe Impala. Maybe you just try to sneak your way through the city and try to catch people off guard coming out of there. Poland, as their sight sets a bit onto Japan, Japan's just going to turtle it up there south of the truck stop. As Poland going to use this opportunity to make a move. Marsalek says, hey guys, I can see, oh careful, cactus avoided. What's open in front of me? You guys are relatively safe to get here. Come on through. Or is this just going to be one? Just a little bit of an info gathering mission, maybe.
Oh,
A 1 in 3, it looks like.
They're
das
sending
ist
their
nochmal...
most deadly player to the sky to see if he can manage to ascend this team up that leaderboard. The rest of the team are on the move. 13 teams alive, a bunch of them still on the cusp of qualification, and every single point is going to matter. Adam is going to drop. Is he going to find space for his team? He's intersecting UK and Poland, and he's going to come under fire. There's a shot. He's going to come under heavy fire. UK have farmed teams in the sky already. This is big for Canada. Can he hit the ground?
Glück.
Yes, he can. That could be
Hat
big in
der
itself.
Glück.
It is, and he saw the route in between Turkey and France that was open for his players to drive through. So this is a beautiful call here from Adam. Unbelievable stuff. I think they're A-okay. I don't think this can be stopped, and this is monumental for their chances. Oh, gotta be careful with that terrain though. Sometimes Miramar can be a fickle mistress.
Kanada schwer unter Beschuss von
Just
UK.
T-bone sightlines.
And they're between France and Poland, Japan and Team UK. Team UK are not going to push up this direction. There's no reason for them to, but Canada have put themselves in a position now where they could get into
Kanada hat
fights
schon eine gute
and get those
Position.
all-important points.
Und
Japan could be a
haben aber
target.
jetzt in der
Adam
Nähe
is scouting out.
Japan.
Adam, I'd like to see you boost up maybe once more. You know, get the health up a little higher to give yourself more of a chance as Poland begin their rush, and Poland are going towards Chinese Taipei. This, sorry, it's not Poland, upside down.
Yeah, I told you.
The logo confused me. And Jia Wei, this is big for Chinese Taipei.
It is huge. That's a great start to this fight. Now Indonesia is in the blue. Hard shift up to the north, kind of expected based on some of the unplayable terrain on Miramar. It's a claimed point though for Savior and Chinese Taipei. Nice to get one back after losing one early.
Germany hat sich wieder gute Positioning geholt, aber leider noch keine Punkte geholt, dieses Match. Müssen wirklich gut aufpassen, dass da nicht Frankreich, Taipei, Dänemark, Kanada, Schweden gute Punkte holen und dann eingeholt werden, überholt werden und aus dem finalen Qualifier rausfliegen. Alles möglich in so einer Runde. Ich drücke natürlich den Deutschen die Daumen, dass das eben nicht passiert.
France, Canada, Poland, Denmark, Chinese Taipei, all with a chance of qualifying, are in a straight line across the center of the circle. And this is big. Turkey get the knock on the Sky.
That is nice. The rest of the team now, they had flanked out wide and they're starting to drive in, trying to be a little bit of bait here. They're going to stay in the car until the last second. Code Marco strikes. That's Balzac down.
Oh, die Türken machen gerade richtig Druck auf Frankreich. Was tatsächlich nicht verkehrt ist für Deutschland, wenn die Franzosen jetzt rausfliegen damit. Und da ist nur noch einer am Start. Und der wird jetzt von Japan auseinandergenommen. Frankreich ist eliminated. Super.
Disaster for Canada or for France. They now find themselves. We know now that 66 points guarantees you a spot into the next stage, but that is a disaster. Their phenomenal play yesterday may count for naught as Braxco will get the knock on to Mome. But again, it's Sweden, and now they need to descend that mountain in towards Norway, Spain, Germany. Is this Sweden are going to be able to make their big move? Because they have no vehicles. They're walking down a hill and they are barefoot.
To make matters worse, they got no kills from this position. This is not looking good for Sweden, if I'm being perfectly honest. But again, good fighting could get you out of a bad situation. Hot and spicy, going for long-range shots there. Spain underneath, though. Oh, they're in a battle with Norway, and actually Mackendar does get a kill there, so that's a point. Finally able to collect from this high ground position. Turkey on the western side, Canada.
Nades.
They know they're weak.
Get your nades, and you've got a couple in the back pocket, but Japan are wrapping around, and that's what Canada are afraid of. You can't put all your eggs into the Turkish basket. Sweden parachuting their way down. They're making their move now. Heeman will get the first one as Mome is going to fall. Mackendark leads the way. He gets feet on the ground, but no, he gets knocked by Intense. Sweden with only Fuzzface left standing alongside Hot and Spicy, but they're outside the circle. Hot and Spicy goes down now, and Sweden, well, they're losing the breath from their lungs. On the other side, Adam is going to get knocked as Turkey push up. Marco could flush to that one, but Joshi will find a knock of his own. It is all going ham here on the northwest of the circle.
Shin lets loose with a grenade, but he takes some damage from one of Shilla's. Code Marco just peek shooting with this 3x spray. 7 bullets left, has to switch over.
Deutschland haben sich mittlerweile einen Punkt geholt. Das ist nicht verkehrt, aber die müssen immer noch tierisch aufpassen.
From the blue, finds one onto Spain, needs to get another there. He's got him taken down. Is this going to be enough? That puts them into 8th, and he will fall. Hard to say. Canada needs one more point. Denmark needs one more. Poland, a few out themselves.
Jetzt haben sie nur noch 3 Teams, die böse im Nacken hängen.
Last gasp now, last player standing, and he falls. Canada will be eliminated.
Kanada auch raus.
They're the next team up. Can Denmark close the gap?
Wenn die Dänen jetzt rausfliegen,
to rock them.
Dann
he takes the fight. This is Denmark's push. They know if they deal with Chinese Taipei,
Schweden aber auch noch richtig Glück gehabt, aber es
as UK push up over the hill line. T-Bone gets the knock and flush. Fex will find Code Marco as Turkey are on the verge of elimination now as well at the hands of Team UK, and they are on 7 kills already. Schiller hiding behind the back of that Bronco.
Dänemark braucht nur 2 Kills und die sind auf Platz 8.
Denmark wipe out Taipei.
Beziehungsweise Platz 7.
For the UK, comes up short of getting the flush. Schilla trying to prevent a rethrow, and he does. There might have been a grenade in hand there for Michael. There's another player here swinging in, and Turkey still alive, still fighting, trying to get themselves in. There's hope, there's a chance, but with Poland still alive, Denmark still kicking. Denmark taking down Indonesia off screen. Oh boy, but here comes Japan.
Oh, Japan are pushing in towards Turkey, but this could be 4 more kills. Crossberg will find one of his own. Bevan will go for the repeat. Crossberg eats a headshot, but it's not looking good in 10s as Norway third party the action. That's Turkey eliminated. Another team falls. Poland, can you do
Deutschland haben sich gerade noch einen Kill geschnappt. Also es sieht für die Deutschen gerade sehr gut aus. Die unteren Teams sind fast alle eliminated geworden und es sieht tatsächlich echt super aus. Germany holt sich gerade tierischen Space.
So weak. A decent grenade. It's actually AT's grenade. Norway close enough to make some throwables land. Cappy at the very least going to take Goni down. Bevan, Run AX trying to do what they can to get further into this fight. Smokes are out now. Cappy looking for the flush. It's going to roll quite a bit past. Trying to keep Norway at bay as well with some of those long-range shots. He will claim that point.
Also die Polen werden das bestimmt jetzt sich noch aufholen mit 10 Kills. Kann ich mir nicht vorstellen. Und selbst wenn, wären die German immer noch drin. Das heißt also, das Finale ist safe für uns.
Fights back hard, but Pufax gets the need. Poland wiped them out, and they now climb into the top 8 at the last gasp.
Jetzt sind die Polen Achter, haben die Franzosen und die Schweden weggedrückt. Wahnsinn, was für ein Match.
And that's going to knock France out of the top 8. That's heartbreak. That's unbelievable. Their debut showing here. And it looked like they were good to go. Such a tremendous first day. But it's Poland who's going to dash France's hopes and dreams over to Denmark now. Looking to finish on a high note. Poland, though, taking tons of damage along the way. Denmark just coming up like prairie dogs, finding damage here and there. Marsalek going to be able to get the heels off. Smoke's now out as they want to try to cut off the Polish advance. Norway still just chilling on the backside. They've said, oh, you know what? This fight no longer great. Germany's taking a position in the center of the circle, so let's try to find another avenue of attack. Chinese Taipei as well has found themselves into that final stage. Gustav wins the battle. Marcel taken down as well. Poland, though, do they know they've made it?
Polen ist jetzt eliminiert, aber alles fein.
To find out if they've done enough. If they just looked this way, we could tell them. But they're trying to find out. They find out. Poland, they know, jumps from Marsalek. They know they've done it. They're hugging each other in the background. What a moment it is for them. And they deserve the love that they're giving ourselves. But we've still got a game to call. Denmark with a chance to finish things off with a bang. Taipei, they're in the final as well, as they've done just about enough. But oh my, what a final day it's been as Germany fall in 3rd place.
Norway firing all
Germany ist raus, aber safe. Von Platz 5 auf 6 gerade noch gerutscht. Macht aber nichts.
Right next to him, Savior, patience, waiting to see if he can find a moment. Not going to opt to go off of the knock on the Beamy. The res being stuck. The res does come through. 2 grenades there still available for Chinese Taipei. They're just trying to wait this out, trying to make sure that they can scoop up as many points as possible. I'm sure they're not 100% sure on what the leaderboard looks like, so they need to make damn sure that there is no room for error here. As grenades do splash out, but no targets found. Norway just going to chill. Watch for that Chinese Taipei flank.
Yeah, Chinese Taipei have got to pick a lane now as 2 teams are turning their attention their way. Savior being pushed by Denmark as they look to secure the northeastern border. Norway doing border patrol of their own in the south as they look to find Mao Rush, where they know exactly where he is. Savior, he's creeping. Keter is making a ton of noise here as Savior will find the knock and flush as it's another point for Chinese Taipei. Surely they know they've done enough, but they've still got to keep an eye. That's another bit of smoke thrown towards Beamy, but it's a 2v3v2. You know what? Imagine the feeling of winning the last game of the Playday going into tomorrow.
That would feel great, because then you know for sure at that point. I'm sure there's a pretty good idea amongst the teams that they're in a great position to qualify for tomorrow. But, for Chinese Taipei, you'd love to go out on a high note. And we've got Leo available for a few more games this weekend. Exciting before his retirement. Savior there, starting to let loose with some smokes. Stuns are out to try to clear some space forward, but there's a response from Denmark with some of their own, and actually 8Z takes down Mao Rush off to the side. So just on to Savior for Chinese Taipei, and Beamy says, well, maybe I could just let Norway deal with this, and I'm gonna rotate more towards the south vehicles. Norway's just going for the close.
Yeah, Beamy inside just inside the circle. Savior tries to get it done from the blue. There's a C4. Yeah, run, Gustav, run! There's Hemmen. Will get himself flushed. Chinese Taipei fall.
Norwegen mit C4 Knocks. 2 ausgenockt. Es steht 2 gegen 2. Und einer ist auch genockt, also 2 gegen 1.
To finish up, Beamy will find one. It's a 1v1. Itzy and Beamy. Who's going to clutch this one out?
Oh, Itzy almost got Beamy.
Norwegen macht ihr den Pressure. Beamy ist angefixt. Hält sich aber gerade hoch. Oh, super Nate. Nee, es war eine Flash.
Has come through though, intends looking to steal this away. Beamy able to get around them. Do they know? Have they heard these footsteps? Seemingly so. AT tracking Beamy's movements behind the rock. Saw just ahead there. Beamy, another chance, another reposition. Switching between sites, wants to find the best one for this moment. Red dot seems good to me. Up and over, AT headshot found. AT has to prone down, needs some help from Intens. Right behind him there. Oh, he goes for it, he's got it!
Oh mein Gott! Beide weggesprayt. Was für ein Spray. Da hatten beide aber keine Chance gehabt. Was für ein Matchup.
What a survival stage we have had. And now Avenger is running past. He's got his finger in the air. He wants to get down. He wants to hug his team. Because not only did they get the job done, the money they've secured as well by just making it into that grand finals lobby.
That's a great point. Stellar final game we were treated to here for our survival stage. Just awesome stuff as we are going to take a quick look at some highlights. And man, oh man, that was a banger. No doubt about it. That was a lot of fun coming through here. So many teams with so much to play for. I am still in shock. Poland comes through and gets it done. That is amazing for them. I'm still in shock for France. I thought after yesterday they're good to go. They just need to tread water, but they sank. They couldn't swim.
It just goes to show how hard a game PUBG is. They were on top of the world after yesterday's game, their debut at PNC. Now, don't get me wrong, those players have put so much into their stock when it comes to finding teams and going forward. Like, Nedex was great. I think Sky's IGLing on day one was phenomenal. So Max was brilliant. Volzak had his moments, so great for them to show what they can do on a global stage. It's sad, but they're going to go back with their heads held high to France. Yes, you're going to be sad today, but tomorrow, new eyes in the morning, they'll look at it a little bit different. But for the feeling for Denmark and Poland to do it on the last map, I don't know if you realize, but I looked over my shoulder before that map started, and Marsalek was like, let's go. You know, he was still smiling, he was still happy. I don't care what anybody says. Having someone like Marsalek in your team means he is always going to be pushing and want to win and keep the vibes up.
Absolutely. He's got tremendous energy when it comes to competition. He wants to win, and he's going to stay mostly positive about it, and he's going to keep firing up. And yeah, there you go. You can take a live look as they get through. Big hugs all around. Well-deserved for Poland. And then, you know, Beamy. I love that it's Norway again C4ing Denmark there for a moment. I was like, oh no, not like this. But Beamy able to respond, able to get it through, and he's got a big smile on his face as Denmark gets the job done and will be going into that final stage to join our 8 other teams. And woohoo, that was a lot of fun.
And it only gets tougher from here because you look at the teams that they're going to be joining. All I'm going to say is if you've plans this weekend, cancel them because PNC is going to be electric. But I do think we should take this moment to, to say, yes, we lost a lot of teams today. It's sad their journey at PNC ends. They put some good things on show. I think every team can be proud of it. But let's have a look at our top teams from that last map. You know, it's Denmark, Norway, Taipei, and Turkey. But I still want to get back to my point. Like, the 8 teams that are going home, they all had their moments. They can hang their heads high. Like, some of these teams, it's their first ever time on LAN. For some of these players, it's their first ever time outside their hometown. They don't know when they're going to get the opportunity like this again. So just being here was a win in and of itself.
Hey, absolutely. I mean, the fact that we expanded this event to 24 teams, phenomenal. You can see what it has already brought to this event. The excitement, the level of
1500 Damage für 13 Kills. Auch Monster viel Damage gemacht, aber wenn man vergleicht, Indonesien hat die letzte Runde davor 3000 Damage zusammen gemacht. Einfach wahnsinnig viel Damage.
Incredible player he has been throughout his entire career, and that was just another great moment among many for him.
Yeah, and there's just so many things that he's good at. Like, his bolt play is incredible. He's great at long range engagements. You give him a chance like that at close range, he's going to do damage as well. But
he's also a genius at kill feed tracking. I don't know if he's like, he just gets it. It's crazy how good he is at it.
Yeah, and he's going to be feeling great. Like, for Denmark, what looked like an impossible task at the start of today has been done. But we have our match leaderboard. Look, you can look at the points that some teams get. Turkey again, another pretty good Miramar for them, but it was the other maps that was their Achilles.
6 Punkte für Germany. Und jetzt sehen wir nochmal die Leaderboards sehen gleich. Und das ist nur für das Match. Und
there you go. It is going to be Indonesia, Norway, the Philippines, UK, Denmark, Germany, Chinese Taipei, and Poland that will join. Those other 8 already qualified teams starting tomorrow already. Can't wait to get that going. But man, I still look to France.
Also Germany eingezogen ins Finale. Werden wir alle gespannt sein, wie es dann die nächsten Tage ausgeht. Und ja, hat auf jeden Fall Spaß gemacht, die paar Matches zu sehen. Hoffentlich hat es euch auch gefallen, einfach zuzugucken. Ich werde jetzt definitiv eine Pause machen und später mit dem Spiel Killing Floor 3 in den Twitch starten. In den Stream starten und dann werden wir einfach nochmal gucken, was bei Killing Floor 3 so abgeht. Deshalb, Guys und Girls, wünsche ich euch einen schönen Nachmittag und wir sehen uns definitiv später wieder. Also haut rein, Leute. Bis dann, euer Axel, Klick 04. Ciao.